Hello everybody, it is I, your favorite VTuber Android Arrowhead. This is possibly the last episode that I'm doing for Zero Escape 999. So, we need to get to all these white key things, because this will get us to the true ending, which is apparently all the way down here. We have gotten basically every other ending possible. But, yeah, we've gotten the gold key, we need the gold lock, which is apparently, like, down here or something like that. So, I need to go back to what I did last time, but this time for the white key. So I need to change this to door 5, which I think I need to just skip through all this, get to the question thing. Because I need to get to door 4, because 5 is the one where what's-his-fuck died. Right, door 4.
It's 4. Add up our 4 bracelet.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Alright, I think that puts us on the right track. Oh, no, wait, we fucked up. I think we went into the wrong one.
We need to hurry.
Uh-oh. Well, oh wait, no, we did the right one. Huh. Okay, and then something about this was the wrong choice. So, let's see, hold on. 3, 7, and 8 doors. I think the next one we gotta do is 7. Possibly. Yeah, go in the thing. Alright.
Well, we really don't have a choice.
Gotta go through door 7, which we've already technically done, but... Actually, wait, no, we haven't. Oh. So that's why the ending was closed off to me. Alright, yeah, so we gotta go to this one. Hey, Lobus, welcome to the stream. 100% the game today? Probably. I would hope so. Anyway, I'm doing fine. How are you doing? Alright. So, I'm pretty sure door 7 is the next one we have to do. It is also, well, at the moment at least, the only one we haven't done. So, well, we'll see.
I think I'm gonna go with door 7.
Good.
Okay, 7 it is.
Yeah.
All right then. That means June's got to go through 8.
Oh, wait, wrong screen. Yep. There.
What? Why?
Math.
What?
Santa grimaced and muttered angrily to himself, but finally began to explain.
If the 6 of us are gonna keep going without leaving anyone behind, there are only 3 ways we can do it.
Okay, I'm just gonna skip this just because we've already
3, 5,
gotten...
and 8 go through 7, and 4, 6,
Oh, I guess I
and
technically
7
haven't
go
gone through
8.
this yet. Alright, yeah. Plan B.
4, 5, and 7 go through 7, and 3, 6, and 8 go through 8.
But yeah, essentially that's kind of where we're at. Alright, there's door 7. Guy named 7 is available. Here's the thing though, we learned from last time that the only real villain in the group, as far as we're aware, is, Ace. And he's the one who killed Fake Snake. Which, by the way, don't even know who Fake Snake was, but apparently he is now dead. So, let's see.
4, 3, 6, and 7 go through 7, and 4, 5, and 8 get 8.
Alright, I think the audio's fine. Anyway. Yeah.
There are no other combinations. In other words, 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 can never go through the same doors. Get
Yeah.
it now?
I mean, I get it, yeah. As Santa finished, June looked over at Junpei, tears welling up in the corners of her eyes.
Oh no. You're saying we aren't gonna see each other again for a long time.
We'll be back together soon. It'll be great. Junpei felt just as June did. He wanted to be at her side through whatever trials they were preparing to face. But he knew if they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. In order for the 6 of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. He looked at June. He was scared to lose her, but he swallowed, steeled his resolve, and did his best to smile. Also, a Steel Ball Run anime got announced for JoJo. That's great.
Hey, come on. You're making it
That was
sound
yesterday.
like we're never gonna see each other again. We gotta split up, but only for a while.
Exactly,
This
we'll
is
be
just like
fine.
when we went into the 4 and 5 doors, remember? We got split up then too, but we all met back up. I'll bet 7 and 8 are just like that.
You mean they're connected somewhere?
Yeah,
probably.
we'll always be connected. We just gotta,
Probably.
I don't know, hope? It doesn't sound very hopeful. That's not very Danganronpa of you. It was 7 that interjected.
I'm sure they're gonna connect somewhere.
See, here's the thing about these characters. I do not know where all of them fit into the plot. Question, if that was a fake Snake in the other endings, does that mean he was alive for all the other endings and came back, either only Clover or everyone dead? Probably, unless Clover never let him out of the coffin. Also, something interesting we learned. The 0 bracelet counts as the number 6. Which is June's number. Which then begs the question, what exactly is the deal with that? Turns out the 0 bracelet is not actually a 0. So, either way, as long as Ace has the 9 bracelet, technically everyone can get out, because then we have all the bracelets we need. But, you know.
Why? What makes you think so?
If they don't, then neither team can get through door 9. In other words, the game would end right here.
Yeah.
Zero's been on top of his shit so far. I don't think he'd blow it now.
Yeah, you know, 0 is pretty cool.
I'm damn sure that son of a bitch wants to have his fun as long as possible.
Besides, I'm pretty sure Zero's goal, it's not very Nagito of you. Yeah, strange as hell. Maybe he can alter the numbers so he displays at will, or maybe she's sorry in the different endings for a different reason. That's true. It could be a couple different things, but like, it is weird that the number 0 bracelet counts as the number 6. Just putting that one out there. But, what was I gonna say? I don't think Zero's goal in all of this is to kill us, because he even said in the other ending that he lost when all the stuff happened. So we don't know exactly what is going on here or what Zero's goal actually is, because apparently it's not to kill us.
He's not gonna end this game until we get through the 9 door.
June said nothing. Tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as they looked at Junpei. He met them, and with what reassurance he could manage, laid his hand gently on her shoulder.
Everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna see each other again.
I'm just imagining it's like the Haze scene in Spider-Verse where he's like, hey. She's like, what the fuck are you doing, Junpei? June bit her lip and gave an almost imperceptible nod.
Yes. Promise?
So June dying is apparently a bad thing if she was the last one to die in the Lost ending. Yeah, and apparently she died of sickness of some variety. I don't really know, but yeah, it seemed like that. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Santa's voice chatted the moment.
You guys are done, right?
That's the thing, I don't know where Santa fits into all this, because Ace was the, one of the guys who ran the original, Nonary game. So was number 9. Snake might have been, but I think that was more about his doppelganger being a previous member of it. I don't think Snake's there. 7 was a guy who investigated it. Lotus was the mother of one of the participants, apparently, whose name was Nona, which is interesting. And I don't know where everyone else fits into this. That's the kind of the weird part. Including Santa. He stretched and continued.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. Clover and I will both go into separate groups. I figure I'll take 8 and Clover can take 7. Any problems with that, Clover?
SPR getting announced fucking corrupted my entire YouTube recommendations with the JoJo fandom super powerful. Oh yeah, they're all over the place.
Whatever.
It's like sleeper agents. This was their code. It was more of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to care.
Alright, we're ready to go then. Let's move.
At Santa's command, the group split and headed for their respective doors. Clover, 7, and Junpei walked toward door 7. Santa, Lotus, and June headed for door 8. For a long moment, they stood in front of the door. 7 took a deep breath.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go.
As I recall, we have not done this set of doors before. So this will actually be another puzzle before the last bit. I've also heard that apparently this version that I'm playing, this is the Steam version. I've heard this version has messed up the final puzzle of the game. And I don't know in what way it has, I've just heard that, so we'll see. A narrow hallway stretched out before them. I guess we'll see when we get there. 7 and Clover leapt through the door.
Let's do this!
Hurry!
The moment they did, their bracelets beeped. Broop, 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 broop. The detonators in the bracelet had already been activated. Junpei stepped forward to follow them. But as he was about to step over the threshold, he stopped. You will blow up if you don't! He looked to his right, toward door 8. June stood there, a mirror image of Junpei. She turned and looked toward him. Then she turned into Nello Angelo, and they had to fight. Their eyes met. They nodded. If Lotus was a mother of one of the victims Seven had saved, or perhaps accidentally let die, so apparently all the kids at the last Nonary game survived and went back to their parents. Apparently they were unharmed. So whatever the deal is with that, we'll find out probably by the end of this route. They nodded.
June.
Jumpy.
Their farewell took almost 1.5 seconds.
What the hell are you doing, Junpei?
Come on! Then someone took hold of Junpei's arms and hauled him bodily through the door. He heard the sound of the numbered door slam shut behind him. His bracelet gave a cold electronic beep.
Only 81 seconds left. No time to waste, guys. Let's get moving.
We need every second we can get. Only 81 seconds. Seven led the... I don't know why that made me laugh. Alright, Seven led the way down the hallway. Junpei and Clover followed him as fast as they could. After what seemed like far more than 81 seconds, they reached the end of the hall.
Look! The door on the left! I can see the dead!
I can see dead people too, Clover. You're not special. There was no time to rest or catch their breath. All three slammed their hands in quick succession over the scanner panel on the dead. Okay. We're not dead. Still trying to catch his breath, Seven leaned heavily against the wall.
It stopped. It stopped.
Seven, you good? His smile seemed forced and a little crooked.
This is the second time we've gone through one of these numbered doors, but... Whew.
Apparently a Sudoku puzzle was removed from the Steam version of the game from what I can tell. Oh. Huh. Wonder if that has something to do with, I don't know, we'll see when we get there. I imagine it'll be fine, at the very least, like it's probably not going to be game-breaking. He stood up straight, no longer out of breath, and wiped some of the sweat off his head and neck. Clover smirked at him.
I would have thought a guy your size would have bigger balls than that.
Clover, what?
What? What the hell did you just say? Say it again! I dare you!
I mean, Seven, let's not punch a child who just lost her brother, but... Clover, what the fuck, man?
You have no...
Oh my god! What the fuck was that?
I'd like to see you try.
I thought she was about to say, I'd like to see your balls.
You fucking brat! Alright, let's go!
What the fuck is wrong with you two?
Hey, calm down, guys. This isn't the time for this.
I thought Clover would have a brother, that's just me, though. I mean, yeah.
It's not gonna do us any good.
Clover, what the fuck? What was that? You good? I mean, I know you just lost your brother, but you good? Junpei sighed. Sometimes he wondered if the doors and the puzzles were really the greatest challenge they faced.
Wait here for a minute, alright? I'm gonna go see if there are any other doors.
They didn't respond, but Junpei wasn't in the mood for a conversation anyway. Also, Clover, you're really gonna pick a fight with a guy, like, twice as tall as you? What's your game plan here, bro? What's your game?
We just came through.
Who expected a Donut Lips comment without fucking chonk his mouth is? Oh yeah, he looks like Apocalypse from the X-Men series. Like the 97 one, I think. Or one of the other ones. I know there was one where Apocalypse had like really big lips. And I thought the reason they called him Apocalypse, because I'd never heard the name Apocalypse before. I thought it was because he had really big lips and they were like, oh, Apocalypse. That makes sense. I was wrong for what I now know as obvious reasons, but we just came through this door. And of course, oh, you already said that.
There's a short hallway on the left here, and an iron wall. I doubt I can get through it.
Maybe Seven could. At last, he gave up and returned to Seven, who was tapping lightly on the wooden door.
This door's the only option we've got, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, looks like it.
Hey, something's written on the door.
It says, I have balls. 7 is 0! Look, you forgot this isn't your slash running. You ain't taking down the walking damn refrigerator-sized man. Exactly, yeah.
On that iron plate.
It says operating room.
She doesn't even have the axe yet, which is the crazy part. Maybe Clover has balls.
If this thing's telling the truth, there could be body parts inside here.
Well, this is probably not going to be pleasant.
Something about it made Junpei feel nervous.
Well, there's no point to standing around. Might as well go in and see what's waiting for us.
Oh boy. 7 grabbed the brass knob and slowly opened the door. The creak of the hinge sounded like the groan of an old woman.
What's wrong?
No, it's nothing.
A chill snaked its way down Junpei's spine.
Let's just go.
Quickly, he gathered what courage he could and took the first step into the room. 7 followed, with Clover right behind him.
Huh?
Part of the room just past the door was obscured by a screen.
What the hell is this?
Why don't we take a look?
What the hell is this?
Hey, Clover!
Clover's curiosity got the better of her, and she darted past Junpei to peer around the screen. Clover, it's called an operating room. What did you think it was gonna be? Oh boy. Her scream nearly blew out Junpei's eardrums.
What? Clover!
He and 7 ran toward Clover to see what had frightened her.
Hey, what's wrong?
They rounded the screen, and the cause of her outburst was immediately clear. Oh,
What the hell is
it's just a
this?
mannequin. I was expecting something much worse. Alright.
Is this a corpse?
Junpei... you know what, sure, why not? Maybe it is. It was something that looked kind of like a human lying across some sort of bed. No, not a bed. An operating table. The table sat in a rusty steel lift, and a cluster of bright operating lights shone down on it from the ceiling.
We should probably take a closer look.
Yeah.
Slowly, they approached. Am I crazy in thinking that this kind of looks like Michael J. Fox? As they got closer to the body, it became clear that it wasn't a body at all. It should have been clear from a distance!
This is...
What the hell? That's just a huge doll or something.
Yeah, you can play Operation.
Doll?
This gives me E-rated Bioshock surgery vibes. Oh, yeah. An E for everyone Bioshock would be crazy. In fact, that'd be honestly probably very funny to watch. Clover did not look terribly comforted. Slowly, she approached the operating table and looked as intently as possible from as far away as possible at the Thing. That's not The Thing. This isn't Marvel Rivals. Or John Carpenter's The Thing, starring Kurt Russell and other actors. Junpei could see her relax.
Right. It's only a doll. Man, it really scared me.
She heaved a great sigh of relief and wiped a few drops of sweat from her forehead. 7 smirked.
Well, I guess it would have been weird if you actually had any balls.
Shut it! Don't you start with me, fatty.
Clover, again. He's twice your size.
Oh, what's this? You want a piece of me, short stuff?
Also, 7... Let's try to be at least a little mature about this. You're usually the voice of reason.
Yeah, bring it on, you whale!
Clover, what are you doing?
Hey, guys, not again, okay? Seriously.
Looks like a generic disc jockey from any NPC mobile anime RPG. I kinda see it, yeah.
Jeez.
Seriously, Clover, what is your deal?
Anyway, it looks like he's got something the two of you could stand to have a little more of.
A heart?
I'm talking about a heart.
Oh, this? You mean on his chest?
Also, this guy literally has no balls. So, yeah. Clover, you're literally shorter than Junpei. Shut up, you're not winning that. Exactly! What does she want to happen here? What does she think is gonna happen? Like, if she gets, like, smacked across the room, it's gonna be like, well, I mean, Clover, I told you not to do that. Like, what do you want from me here? It was set a little higher than normal for a human body, but from the shape of the organ, there could be no doubt that it was a heart.
Why would there be a heart in a doll?
Make it a real boy? I don't know.
It's a doll.
You think maybe it's like a medical mannequin or something?
Well, I kind of figured, yeah. That's why it's in an
Maybe it's got
operating
more
room.
Personal uses.
7, do you want to fuck this doll? You can, probably, but why would you do that? 7's grin was more than a little perverted. Also 7. What? Alright. I mean, look, dude, if that's your vice, go for it, but not while we're in the room, okay? Clover glared at them.
Anyway, how about we take a look around this place? Let's go.
Okay.
Sure thing.
Okay. Got plenty of stuff. Member dolls can also exist in arms rooms. Yeah, exactly. And their arms can also exist in anatomy rooms. Alright. Let's see, flowchart wise. Whatever this is, I made the right choice here by not making this red. So what I need to do now is just, I guess, keep going with this and then hopefully get back to other stuff. Once I get the white key in this scene, supposedly I should be able to get all the rest of these. Okay, but let's look at this. Hey, I wonder what this thing is. It says KG on the display. Think maybe it's a scale? These dolls are really kind of creepy, you know. Hey, it says something here. John? Think that's this doll's name? Maybe? This thing is creepy. Wonder why it's on the bed. Because they're operating on it. What's this? A white cloth. Yeah, but what's it over, Junpei? Okay, they use these for surgery, right? Let's see. Syringes, cups, a plate. There's a sort of scissors-ish thingy. Okay, I got the Kosher forceps. Are those scissors? They look kind of funny. No, that's probably a pair of Kosher forceps. Surgeons use them during operations. They can hold blood vessels shut and they keep the tissue out of the way. You can use it to pull stuff out of small holes or something like that. Okay, interesting. What's this thing? Got these short iron legs. Show what's underneath the white stuff, man. Exactly! Maybe it's a heater? There's nothing inside of it. Oh, what's that thing? What is this? Okay. Cool. Just making sure. The drawer is empty. Yeah, nothing there. Well, that solves that. Maybe you're supposed to heat something like that gauze to kill the bacteria? There's a boiling thingy over there. There's nothing on the lid or in the drawers. Go to the chemical room. Looks like it's locked. Guess we're gonna need a key for this one. Also locked, okay. I'm getting the feel of it. You can probably find the key if we just look some more. Let's look somewhere else. Okay, here we go. Scalpel. Alright, what does this do? Scalpel that's not rusty. Seems like it was put here for a reason, huh? Think it's telling us to cut something? Yeah, I do. But, do we need to transplant the heart? A medical mannequin with its guts showing. Ew. Gross. Hey, Junpei. There's a slit in this thing's chest. Yeah, sure is. Something in there. Maybe we can get it out. Grunt. Damn it! Freaking thing won't budge. It's stuck. Well, I guess you can't use force in this one then. We need something small that can fit into that little hole. I got it, the forceps. There. Get a fake lung? Yeah, I didn't think so. Alright. Maybe we combine this and this? Let's try cutting this organ with a scalpel. Why would we do that? Oh! Cool? So we got that done. Let's see. What is this key to? Ooh, it's unlocked. Wait, does it unlock the other? Wait, hold on. Does it unlock the other one? Probably not. Oh. Both. Huh. Alright. Hey, Junpei, you think there are any slugs in this ship? Perchance, why, Clover? Huh? Well, if there are, I was thinking we could put salt in them. What's she pointing at? The label states NaCl. Salt, huh? You think Seven will have shrivel up if we put it on him? Clover, what is your problem with Seven? Look, Clover's making another small dick joke at Seven. Honestly, yeah. Seeing Anatomy Dolls gives me PTSD from the horror-themed section of Ghostwire where you have to play Weeping Angel and Haunted Anatomy Mannequin. Oh, that sounds really cool. I haven't played Ghostwire. Heard good things about it. You say something? Anyway, let's look at this stuff. What the fuck is this? Alright. Iron 1, carbon dioxide, salt 2, water 3, ethanol. Okay, yeah, I got it. Blue liquid. Okay. Red liquid. Let's combine this with the blue liquid. No. Okay. There's a note on top of the table. Iron 1, salt 2, water 3, carbon dioxide, question mark, ammonia, question mark, ethanol, question mark. What do you think this is a hint for? Maybe it's got something to do with this box? Look around the room a little bit. Something stinks. Like ammonia? Is it coming from this bottle? It says NH3. Of course that stinks. It's ammonia. Junpei, there's a bottle of iron powder on the shelf. How do you know it's iron? The label says Fe. Fe stands for iron, right? Hey, Junpei, there's dihydrogen monoxide on the shelf. Why don't you just say water? You Jimmy Neutron ass. Oh, good stuff. Let's go for a drink. What are you talking about? Ethanol. What about that bottle? It says C2H5OH, right? It's ethanol. That's right. It's also known as ethyl alcohol. Pretty much what booze is made of. So, you're gonna drink it? Nah, I won't. I'd say that's what it is on the label, but there could be anything in there. Huh. We got all that, but let's go to the preparation room. Let's see if, piece of paper. What's this? Is this some kind of medical record? New material's been added to the file screen. Okay, what about this? Oh! Let's put in the blue liquid next. I'll put the red liquid back in the bottle. The lights on the device aren't moving. Hey, the blue light turned on. I don't trust Clover being near any of this, considering she can just create deadly gas with the ammonia. But we might be able to make her not a killer in this route, so we'll see. Maybe she can be helpful with it. Maybe she can kill Ace. And I heard a noise. It sounded like something unlocking. Okay, what would have unlocked? Locked. It won't even budge. You think this is the exit? Could be. Oh, there we go. Cool, we got a leg. Locking with a red plate on it. It's locked. Found a beaker. Yeah. Let's see. Red. Yep. The red light's on now. I heard another noise. Beaker with red liquid in it. Makes the light that passed through it red. Yep. I get it. You combine the red liquid and the blue liquid to make a purple one. Good job, Junpei. The purple light came on and I heard it unlock. I'm sure it's unlocked. The locker with the purple plate has gotta be unlocked. Yep, I got it. My liquid's back. Alright. Other leg, great. And there's the hips. Okay. Alright, combine this with this. Never mind. Can I combine it with this? No. Okay. sink. The doctors and nurses probably washed their hands here before an operation. Nothing suspicious here. What about this? Did we ever get the white light? Nope. Alright, that's just to show that it works. Alright. In that case, we need to go back over here. Wait. There. Creepy mannequin is lying on the bed. Apparently his name is John. Maybe we need to start with the legs? Oh, it's just lying there. Oh, it's just lying there. Okay. Huh? There's some sort of lid on this thing. Why don't you try opening it? Can't. There's no handle. Can't get under it with my nails either. It looks like it could be a scale next to the operating table. There's something that looks like a liquid on the front of it. Okay, so we got all the fake body parts. Excellent. Rectangular table. I wonder, did people mix medicine in this thing? The box is locked. So you have to enter a passcode on the keypad to open it. You can only enter 3 numbers. E is for enter and C is for clear. Once you input the number, press E. If you mess up, press C. Hey Zachary, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Who was strangely energetic this time around? She was at least slightly energetic that one other time we got into the room right after her brother died. But yeah, John just loves lying there. It's his favorite. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so... How am I supposed to know what order the things are in? Because we have all those things in the room. It's just a question of, what? Maybe that... Hold on a minute. What was this? Alright, so iron, salt, water. Let me think. Carbon dioxide, ammonia, ethanol. What does all this have to do with anything? Bottle of ethanol on the shelf. The label says C2H5OH. I was gonna say how many, hydrogen particles are in it, or fucking atoms, but unfortunately we, have, 6 in this, but the other ones don't even, NaCl and iron don't even have 1, so, you can read well in most other games, but even though but you can't read a normal sentence in this. Yeah, that happens a lot. I don't know what's on me, dude. There's a bottle of salt on the shelf. The label says NaCl. Yeah? What about it? Fe. Alright, so... Maybe it's how many capital letters are in it? NaCl. Na sodium and Cl is chloride. Yeah. 1 sodium atom, 1 chloride. Okay, so how many atoms are in it? Okay, I got it. In other words, 1, 2, 3. Carbon dioxide is also 3, which would make 4. Ammonia's 4, which would make 6. And ethanol... Wait, hold on. What's ethanol again? That's where this is. Ammonia. Okay, yeah, there's 4 in that. And on this, there are 2, 5, or 2, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Yep. Alright, so 1 and 3 make 4. 2 and 4 make 6. So that's 4, 6, and then 12. But the digital root of that would be 3. So 4, 6, and 3. Let's try that. Jet, Look at the first line. Maybe that represents a number. Well, yeah, but then what's the point of the other numbers if, Or it could be that this is the first row, this is 6, and then we have 3, 4, and 9, which would be altogether 16. So let's try 6, 16. I haven't had the kind of atoms and shit in a long-ass time yet. What two numbers are missing? Good question. Alright, so basically, we're counting the number of atoms in the thing. So, by logic, carbon dioxide is 3, because that's CO2. Ammonia is 4, because that is NH3. And this is C2H5OH, which is a grand total, I think, of 9. Right? Let's listen to what Clovis said about it again. And 1-0. So yeah, that's 9. I don't know. So, I'm not really sure what order to add them up in, I guess. Just... Or maybe I just need to enter in the other numbers. So that would be 3, 6, and 9. Nope. God damn it. What else would it be? Actually, wait, no, it's... No, 3, 4, and 9. Okay. There we go. There's the arm. There's the heart. Combine this with this. Can't combine that. Okay. I know there's a rectangular table. Shut up. Here we go.
Think we should go back?
Alright, this is a special scene.
Yeah, I think that's probably best.
Clover nodded and left. Junpei was about to follow her when he realized that 7 wasn't following suit.
Hey, 7, what's up?
Oh, well,
He looked up at Junpei distractedly, then back down at the brown bottle he held cupped in his large hands. Well, that for a handy when I could have just handed Clover a 20. Nah, you gotta give 7 the 20, and then I'll just be like, you know, 7, if you had any balls, you'd fondle mine, and it's like, what was that? I'll show you who has balls, and it's like, yeah, you go from there.
Is that a medicine bottle?
I got curious about it. Here,
In response, 7 tossed the bottle gently to Junpei. He caught it, then twisted it around to read the label.
Ethylene diamine tartrate?
EDT! Eat that pussy. Alright.
yeah, that's
Ethyl-
right.
Hold on,
TBT.
let me try to read this without messing up. Ethylenediamine tartrate? Oh, maybe? Alright.
What kind of medicine is that?
It's not medicine. I think it's an industrial strength detergent.
Why would they have something like that here?
To clean the equipment, I guess?
Well, probably to clean stuff up.
Yeah.
Clean what up?
Fuck if I know.
Blood,
Still,
organs,
it looks like it's clean
globules. What? Did you... 7, you didn't drink this, did you?
You remember something?
Yeah.
7 nodded slowly and spoke.
Well, I remember a story about EDT. Happened about 50 years ago.
You actually read that 100% perfectly. Holy shit. Yeah, that's rare for me, actually.
There was this factory
50?
somewhere in America making big old EDT crystals.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, you gotta love
They
it.
were making
I'm not gonna
some
make
of
the
the
joke about the
industrial
crystals,
strength
never
cleaner.
mind.
Like I told you before.
YouTube would not be happy with me. Sell industrial strength cleaner. What
A
happened?
year after the factory started up,
It blew up.
something strange started happening with the crystals they were building.
People ate them.
Water molecules started attaching themselves to the EDT crystals. This made them into a sort of mutation of the original crystals, called a hydrate.
Yeah.
Once the crystals turn into a hydrate, though, it's useless as a cleaner. The factory had to just dump the crystals. As a hydrate, they were useless.
Where did they dump them?
But it didn't end there. After that day, the same thing started happening in EDT factories everywhere, even ones nowhere near that first American factory. They've been making
So...
crystals the same way, the same materials and the same equipment and environment. But now, all of a sudden, every single crystal they formed turned into a
So
hydrate.
it's like that thing from Baki where all the prisoners decided to go fight Baki at once. Momentary speech increased by 90% for each complicated syllable. Considering how criminally underrated you are, YouTube already unreasonably hates you. You know what? That's probably part of it, yeah. You know what? I'll make the joke anyway. It was gonna be something about J.O. crystals. Now I even forgot the joke. Never mind. Alright, let's just keep moving.
In fact, ever since that day, no factory anywhere has been able to make a pure EDT crystal. Even in EDT research done years before, they'd never gotten a hydrate. But after it happened at the first factory, it just Spread. It was like, man, how do you say it?
Synthesis
Like the
or
molecules were communicating with one another,
synchronicity? I don't know. Whatever the term was from Baki.
transmitting information in a way humans couldn't perceive. This phenomena spread throughout the world, right?
Yeah. Junpei looked up at Seven with a half smirk. Shit. Back to misreading things. Alright. Seven stared at him, dumbfounded.
Yeah, that's it exactly. But how did you know?
I heard another story, kind of like that one.
Yeah, that was the thing with the
When?
dog picture.
In the freezer?
Oh no, wait, Ice 9. Yeah.
What? The freezer?
Yeah, June told me.
Junpei told Seven the story he had heard from June in the freezer in the kitchen. How one day glycerin began to crystallize. Oh right, that was the thing from Baki. Yeah. And the story of ice that wouldn't melt at room temperature. Ice 9. When Junpei was done, Seven looked thoughtful and absent-mindedly rubbed the scar on his chin.
Ice that doesn't melt at room temperature, huh?
That sounds familiar?
Yeah, hold up. I feel like I can remember something. It's right there.
Seven squinted. His eyes stared off into space as if he were trying to desperately focus on something far away.
Do you?
Know about Ice 9?
Do you know about Ice 9?
Ice 9? Ice 9. Ice 9.
Ice, baby. Suddenly, Seven's eyes shot open.
That's it. I remember now. That woman, she's on this boat.
Which woman?
That woman?
Alice!
Who?
Who's Alice?
Oh, is that Clover?
Come on. The woman who won't melt at room temperature.
What?
Huh?
The woman who won't... Huh? We already know Lotus's last name isn't Alice, so what? Huh?
You know how the Titanic sank on April 15th, 1912, right?
Yeah?
Yeah, more than 1,500 people died. Worst maritime accident in history. What about it?
Did you hear about the boat that was sent to collect the dead bodies?
No.
I think that was the RMS Carpathia, right?
Junpei, how do you know that off the top of your head, man?
It was a cruise liner, just like the Titanic.
No, that was the ship that picked up the survivors.
Okay.
The ship that collected the dead bodies was the CS McKay Bennett. The McKay Bennett showed up on April 17th, 2 days after the
I
accident.
like to imagine the guy who made this game is just... Isn't that the thing from Jurassic Park with American Store DNA? Yeah, that's part of it, I think. You have the memory disorder, you can remember damn specific deaths. Exactly. And the thing of like... what was I gonna say? Like, I feel like this game was made by someone who's just a huge fan of the Titanic incident, and they wanted to talk about it, but no one else wanted to talk about it with them.
It set out from Halifax, a port in Canada, and recovered 306 bodies. The Atlantic that far north was really cold.
Gotcha.
It would have to be for there to be icebergs and stuff. Anyway, the bodies they pulled out of the water were frozen solid.
Well, yeah.
This isn't a very nice story. So, what happened next?
Well, they say the McKay Bennett recovered something more than just dead bodies.
Dinosaurs.
There were
No.
various bits of stuff floating around in the water. Things the drowned had carried with them, or stuff that dislodged as the ship sank.
How do either of them know any of this like it's basic info? Exactly. Like, he's reciting this word for word. Is he just like a fan of the
One of the
Titanic?
things they found was a
He's also the
coffin.
one who knew about the Gigantic.
A coffin?
Yeah, a wooden one. The craftsman who made it must have been pretty skilled.
And that's the coffin, presumably, that we have in the basement of the ship. Or whatever, wherever that is.
It wasn't just a wooden coffin. It was all wood. No nails, no reinforcements, no gaps in the wood anywhere. The thing was airtight. The crew got pretty curious about what might be inside it and opened it up.
And it was a vampire!
They had to get a wedge and hammer it open. It was so well made. Inside, they found a woman. Or, I guess you should say, they found the dead body of a woman.
What the fuck? Is that Cleopatra?
Her hair was thick and black, and her skin rich brown with no blemishes or signs of decomposition. They say that she looked gorgeous, like a goddess. She was obviously dead, but everyone who looked at her said she just looked like she was sleeping. Her skin was so lifelike, she looked like she might wake up any minute. She didn't, though.
I'm sorry, what does this have to do with Ice and Alice?
The rest of the bodies they found, she was frozen solid.
This is either definitely made by a group of historical students that wanted to talk about boats and historical incidents. They did mention we're on the Titanic sister ship, right? That could explain why it's so relevant. That is true, but it's also a question of, like, why does Seven know all this?
Eventually, the McKay-Bennett finished searching and returned to Halifax. The 306 bodies were unloaded and taken ashore. However, it was warm enough that they began to thaw. They say that the stink was horrible.
Oh, I imagine, yeah.
There was one body that didn't thaw, and that was...
Alice.
Girl in the coffin.
That's right. Everybody thought for sure that she'd melt and start to rot like the rest of them eventually. But weeks passed and nothing happened. And a month passed, and another. And it was summer, and she was still frozen solid.
And she's a vampire.
For a while, people started to say she was some sort of miracle. Rumors about her started to spread. People came to visit Halifax from all over. After a while, people started to call her All Ice.
Oh, Alice. Okay, yeah, I could get the
Alice.
joke.
Of course, those rumors didn't last long.
Why?
Because she started to melt.
She up and disappeared.
Oh, what?
One day Alice was there, the next day she wasn't.
Someone stole a body?
They say someone snuck into where they were keeping her and stole the body.
Okay, imagine having to explain that to your boss. Yeah, so, looks like Lotus a little bit. It definitely does, but the question becomes then, why?
With the body gone, the rumors followed pretty quickly.
Seven was a part of the previous Anonymous game, right? Kinda. Probably the one Ace ran, yeah. So that means maybe they need to use Titanic trivia since they would have been old enough to be learning about it. That could be it. That's a decent idea there, because kids in elementary school probably learn about
After a while,
probably learn about the
people
Titanic.
remembered her. You might be able to find something about her if you could find a newspaper from back then, but that's about it.
Honestly, I am curious as to whether or not that's a remotely real thing, but we'll get there later.
Wait, you just said that she was on this boat.
Yeah, I did. Alice has got to be somewhere on this ship.
What's your level of certainty there,
Now,
pal?
why the hell would you say something like that?
Because I know.
And just what is it you know?
What happened to Alice after she was stolen?
Junpei gulped.
Alright, tell me.
Okay.
What happened to Alice?
Seven nodded slowly and took the look of a man recalling something long buried.
Well, around that time, the word was that there was a special black market in New York. All
Run by
millionaires from all
Abraham
over the world.
Lincoln.
I've heard that Alice went up for auction there. The person who won the auction was Lord Dashiell Gordain.
The guy who owns this ship.
You've heard that name before, right?
He's the guy who bought the Gigantic.
Lord Gordain. Oh, isn't he the guy who bought the Gigantic? The Titanic sister
Which is...
ship.
What are you curious about? I can go find it. I was curious if the Alice thing is real, but like... I don't know. If it's 50 years old, it's ancient, so it's no longer grave robbery, but the robbery of a historical artifact. Okay, that's that. That's
Yeah,
fair.
That's him. Although I guess he hadn't done that yet.
What do you mean?
Gordain bought Alice in 1912. 4 years later, in 1916, he bought the Gigantic. And he hid Alice somewhere on the Gigantic. But nobody knows where. He died in 1931, and apparently he died without ever telling anyone where Alice was hidden. However...
However...
Where would you hide a body?
Well, he did have one close friend who asked him,
And that friend's name was Junpei.
"Where is Alice?" And he said, "Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic."
And there was a mention of a library in one of the other endings. I think it was the Axe one. So we need to, I guess, go back to that room and get the key to the library to get to Alice?
What the hell is that? Is it some kind of riddle?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Also, Seven, you said that like that was some huge memory thing. This is like... Obviously that's relevant because we know it's because of the game, but like if not, how would we... Why would that be a big deal? Seven threw his hands up in defeat.
So that's it. Whatever you think, I believe it. She's hidden somewhere on the Gigantic. In other words, she's hidden somewhere on this ship.
Before Junpei could dispute Seven's rather bizarre claim, Junpei was trying to figure out what on earth he was going to say next. As Junpei was trying to figure out what on earth he was going to say next, Clover's shrill voice pierced the room.
Hey, what are you two doing over there?
Looking at each other's balls?
Stop wasting time and get over here.
Okay, we're coming.
Jeez.
In fairness, we do need to get this done. Seven looked at Junpei.
Yeah, so anyway, that's the story.
Hmm.
It might be useful someday. Don't forget it.
Well, if that isn't foreshadowing, I don't know what it is. With that cryptic remark, he turned and left the room.
Alice. Huh.
Junpei was left behind to ponder what he'd just heard. He tried to remember what Jun had told him earlier.
That mummy wasn't just a normal mummy.
Oh, right! Yeah, she did bring that up, didn't she?
They say that she was frozen. The story says that from the time of its discovery all the way through to when it got put on the Titanic. Even though it was carried through the desert, her body never melted.
You know, the Alice thing is fake, but also somewhat true. Folklore about that kind of stuff is interesting, just because...
Was that Egyptian priestess,
Yeah.
Alice? Did the water in her body become Ice 9?
Was there water in her body? Wouldn't that cause her to decompose, kinda?
No, that's nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts, but it completely fits with the rest of this
There's
game.
no way somebody like that could exist.
Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to clear it, and followed Seven to the operating room where Clover was waiting. Out of curiosity... Nope, I guess we don't get the key till we clear this. Alright, never mind. Okay. Now we can do whatever we need to do with the body. No, it's just lying there. An operating table. You think old operating tables look like this? I have no idea. Hold on, let's examine some of these. A heart. This thing is super creepy. This ain't good for the heart. Yeah. Oh, whoa, wait. Medical mannequin. Again, how can I not combine this? This kind of looks like a nose if you look at it from a certain angle. But yep, we could fit the legs in there, put the torso in the hole. We're missing something. Damn it. Alright. Oh, there's purple liquid in it. Yep. It looks like it could be a scale next to the operating table. There's something that looks like a lid on the front of it. Okay, yeah, so... What? Looks like it's probably a heater. There's nothing in it. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, hold on. That doesn't look very comfortable. Okay, so we've collected the 6 parts of the medical mannequin without knowing that we needed to. So do you think these parts go to this Oh, you mean Lucy? That's what her name is. That's her name, I think. See, it says Lucy right here. Oh, yeah, right. According to the Maritime Museum of Atlantic's FAQ website, I'm leaning towards Alice being a false due to so few to no bodies actually being found after the incident. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I guess this is just an alternate universe where the Titanic actually didn't, or where bodies got recovered at all. I don't know. Well, it doesn't look like John is missing any of his parts. So the one we've got must be for Lucy, right? Yeah. Seems like it. Well, I say we give Lucy her parts back. Any objections? Nope. Agreed. Alright, let's get started. Combine! Oh. It's all of them, alright. Oh, there's a number on here. 51 kilograms? What's this? Is this the weight? Well, we were just stacking body parts on it, so it makes sense that it'd be the weight. Okay, so... back to this. The scale. It looks like a lid on the front of it. Okay, can we move the lid? Okay, so in other words, there's something else we messed up. Hey, nothing happened. That's odd. Maybe it's the wrong weight? Weight? Yeah, well, you know, there's a scale on the side of the bed. Maybe we need to get the scale to a specific number. Why is Clover so obsessed with the damn doll names? Yeah, she's... Let's give the woman her parts feels incorrect in so many ways. No, I agree. It is one of those things that I say that sounds kind of weird. But we're gonna do that. I think we're supposed to swap her body parts with John's. Oh. Let's give it a shot. Operating instructions. The screen will display 2 medical mannequins. You can switch their body parts by selecting the part you want to switch out. So the left arm stays no matter what. Oh, okay, so we need to make them both roughly the same weight. Close. Shit. Nope. Fuck. Why is his heart so much heavier? So close. What do we need to... And now we're back to... Goddamn, we're back to basics. Again, we're close. Yeah. We're getting there. Shit. This transition surgery, I mean, kinda. Men are heavier by default. I mean, yeah, but let's see. All right. Switch heart. Switch gut. Leg. And then arm. Shit, no. We can't switch out that arm, so other leg? And heart. Nope. I just imagine they're all like running back and forth with all the parts they need and then like... Alright, and then another leg? Wait, do these legs weigh the same? Because this added 0.4. This adds 0.5. Okay, so this leg actually weighs more. Or maybe they all add 0.5. Shit, no, this one only adds 0.4. Alright, so this one's lighter. Let's switch the legs back. We need something that's 0.3. What is this way? This one is 0.6. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's try and math this. Alright, so this one's 0.5. This one's 0.5. This one's 0.4. This one is... Okay, so the arm is 0.5. Chest is 0.2. Heart is 0.3. Or this one's 0.3 heavier than that one. Let's switch that. And now... Close. So instead of that... No... Noticing some problems here. Alright. I think they're juggling body parts like Oompa Loompas. Yeah. Oompa Loompa Doopity-doo. We have a brand new stomach for you. Alright. Alright, let's try that. 2.8. Now we need 0.3. Shit, no. I keep praying that this one will also lose stuff to get to the other one. Now we just need 5. And then this one will take 5, so God damn, this is a hard puzzle. I mean, this is like, I'm barely thinking about it. Shit. Huh, alright, you. We need 7. Shit. We're always like 1 off. The hearts apparently weigh an oddly large amount, or the 0.3, which is why this one gets 0.3, this one doesn't. We need to equalize. How can I equalize? Alright. Arm. Leg. Something else that weighs 0.5. Wait, 0.2 and then... Shit. I keep forgetting it'll go to the girl. In other words, something that weighs 0.5 to begin with. Good. No, wait. Not the arm, the leg. And then the heart. Fuck. Does the heart weigh 0.5? Yeah, this one weighs more than that one. So... Huh. Stomach weighs 0.6, so that's that. Alright. Stomach. Heart weighs... Alright, so the red one weighs 0.3. This one weighs... I guess they both weigh 0.3. This one gives more, this one gives less. Or takes away, I guess. So yeah. Currently, this one is 3 ahead. So I need to find a way to equalize it. Currently, we need 3. But then there would have to be 3 that I give to her without... Hold on. 2.8, 51.7, so how about this? And then... This is close, it's just not there, which is the problem. What am I not getting about this? This shit breaks once you find the answer. Oh god. Alright, heart. This one is 1.9 ahead. We need to find an... Wait, hold on a minute. That's plus 6. That's minus 6. This one is 1.3 ahead. So basically, I just need to get 1.3 equal between them. And this would pass 1.3. Aw. Oh god. Shit breaks once I find the answer. I'm sure I can figure this out, which is the worst part, because I know it's taking me a while at this point. I'll just give you a hint, but it'd be too obvious. Oh boy. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong? I'm not asking to clarify, let me figure this out, but... Let's see, this one is... It's 6. That's... 2. No. Shit. No, this one's already heavy enough. Oh, sweet God, man. What have I done to my time? How? Alright, that one's heavier. You don't need to give it anything heavier. So painful to watch it, I can't help but enjoy the flexible suffering. Alright. So let me think this through, right? We need an extra 2.5 that we can share it, but actually, wait. 2.5. Wait. Do we just need to make it relatively equal? Because if it's 2.5, we can't get it equal between them. We just need to make it as equal as possible, I guess. No dice. I think if we knew the weight of each part, we could figure it out. Oh, never mind. Huh. Now there's 1.5, so that's 4. Right, this one weighs 5. And this one weighs 6. Just pay closer attention. Okay. Clearly. This one already weighs more. Ah. 51.7. So the stomach weighs a whole 6. This will get me to 6. This only weighs 0.2. He's not lying about the weight hint. I recommend documenting it so you can do the math. Alright, so yeah. Heart is 0.3. Chest thing is 0.2. Arm is 0.5, I believe. Stomach is 6. This leg is 4. This one is 5. Alright, so let's try to work through this, right? Send 6 over. Send 10 over. Now, the heart and the chest weigh 3. So, we're looking at arm. No. I can already tell. Dude, this is going to be so bad when I finally figure it out. I'm going to die on the spot. I feel like it's incredibly obvious and I'm just not seeing it. Then 7. Let's see, this weighs 2 and this one weighs 5, so nope. So now I need 4. No. I need to. That's gonna explode. I feel like a parent watching the kid fail at a 2 + 2 equation. Fuck, man. I don't. It's rough. I don't know how I'm not seeing it, man. It's fucking... Alright. So basically, we're at 51 over here. We have 53 over here. We have 2.5 extra on this side. We need to make it to where they are both equal, which is probably around 52 point something. Heart. Probably not a good idea. That gives 0.3. So now there's only difference of 1.9. Give the 9 by doing the legs. Now there's a difference of 0.1. Because everything I take away from this one goes to this one. But we don't have anything that equals 0.1. I'm going to take away this, which is the lighter leg, and go with the chest piece. And then go with the gut, which also isn't right. But maybe the leg. No. So close to getting it. You got this. Okay. Alright. Alright. Alright, let's try resetting slightly here. And then we're +5 on this one. Oh boy. Transjoke's gonna bite me in the ass once you find out the answers. Wait a minute. Hold on. I think I... No, that's not it. I was gonna say, it's like, what if it's just the body and not the arms, but... Huh. So currently the heart is the piece in contention. This makes it by 4. No, that can't be it. It can't just be all different. So fucking close. Alright. And now we're 7 difference. Goddamn. What is wrong with this? Okay. We can swap 5 here or 5 there, but it's still gonna be not right. Wait, what about... Shit. No, wait. Dude, my brain is not working. It's so bad. You know what? I've taken like 20 minutes on this, or however long it's been. You can tell me the answer. Clearly, I'm just not getting it. Clearly, there's just something wrong with me. I hate to say it. Unless I somehow get it in the next 5 seconds, which is not looking likely. Three for this, but not for this. Up all the body parts except for the heart. Are you shitting me? What? That wasn't even a matching thing! No wonder I got it wrong! Okay, so yeah, I was doing it completely wrong the entire time. That's great. Okay, so I was under the impression we had to match it. Clearly that was incorrect. Not the lid on the scale. Ah. Hey, it opened. Oh, I get it. Must have opened because we matched John's weight to what's on the chart. Were we supposed to know what the chart... Oh, wait, no shit. Oh, I was supposed to look at the chart I got in the drawer. That's what was wrong with it. Okay. No wonder I couldn't match it. It wasn't even supposed to be matched. Alright. I'm an idiot. I should have looked at the file. Alright, that's on me. By a lot. I can't complain about that. Trans jokes were also a hint. Yeah. I should have been... Man, if I was transphobic, I would have made it through this already. Okay, anyway, yeah, go through here and then go around and then door.
Hey, hold on.
Yeah. Alright. So clearly this is on me for not reading the directions, as is usually the case. Junpei stopped, about to put the key in the doorknob.
Oh, what's up?
Where's Clover?
Oh god.
Huh?
Junpei turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen.
Oh, God damn it. Where the hell did she go?
Where could she have gone?
Okay, just hold on a minute. I'll go get her.
Sure thing.
Junpei left Seven at the door and headed back to the operating room. I've been 30 minutes of my life back. Hey, I'm right there with you, buddy, but... You know... He found her standing next to the operating table. She was staring at the mannequin.
Hey, Clover. What's wrong? Come on. Let's get out of here.
She didn't respond. If she hadn't been standing up and breathing, Junpei might have thought she was dead.
What are you doing? Did you want to come back here and say goodbye to John?
It wasn't the best joke, but it was something. And I should know, I'm Arrowhead. I'm always funny. An attempt to lighten the mood. Clover didn't laugh. She stood stock still and said nothing.
Hey, Clover. Can you hear me?
Perhaps it was something he'd said, or perhaps it was something else. Suddenly, her mouth opened and she whispered in a dry, dead voice.
My brother might be dead.
No, he's not. Trust me, he's in a coffin. Which sounds worse, but...
Huh?
That's why we couldn't find him. If he's dead...
Oh, right, this is before they, found out that he was... They found the body that looked like him. Okay.
I'm going to be next.
Suddenly, the operating room felt very, very cold.
What are you talking about? What's wrong with you?
He gave her a small shake, but she didn't respond. The silence grew heavier. Junpei, what do you want to do? I can give her the 4-leaf clover thing that, what's-his-face, Santa gave me. Sure, why not?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't know why, but suddenly Junpei remembered something he'd been given earlier.
It's in my pocket somewhere. Here it is.
He reached into his pocket and dug it out.
A 4-leaf clover.
Santa had given it to him in the second-class room. He held it out to Clover. I don't know why I'm giving her this, but it's probably the way to the true ending.
Each leaf means something. Hope, faith, love, and luck. That's what a 4-leaf clover stands for. Take it. Use it as a good luck charm.
He pressed the 4-leaf clover into her hand.
Listen to me, Clover. No matter what happens, you can never lose hope.
You can never fall to
You have
despair.
remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love.
And if all that fails, at least you're lucky.
If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck. Snake, I mean, your brother, he's not dead.
Shit, I was trying to play the snake death sound effect. Never mind.
He's alive, somewhere. I'm sure of it.
It is correct.
You just gotta believe in that.
Clover stared at the 4-leaf clover in her hand. You could see tears start to form at the corners of her eyes.
Thank you.
Her voice was tiny and broken, and as she spoke, she started to cry. She tried to hide her tears by looking at the floor, but it did little good. She wiped away tears with the baggy arms of her jacket, but more quickly took their place. No matter how she tried, she couldn't stop crying. Her tears made small, wet circles on the floor.
Thank you.
Alright everybody, it's been Arrowhead, your favorite VTuber clown. Have a great morning, day, evening. Yeah, that's... After this, that kind of has to be. Snake that sound effect was me at the entirety of the Anatomy Doll puzzle. Yeah, I kind of get that. I mean... Yeah. She said it again. Then she looked up at Junpei and seemed to choke down the last of her grief. She did her best to smile. Junpei wiped an errant tear from her cheek with his thumb and gave her the best smile he could manage.
Now come on. Seven's waiting for us at the exit.
But still, she didn't move.
Wait, before we go, there's one thing I want to ask you.
What's that?
I was going to kill you, but are we still cool?
What do you think when you hear the word experiment?
For a moment, his mind froze. Then he came back to his senses and realized the word meant nothing to him aside from the dictionary definition.
What?
Oh. I guess it was just a coincidence then. I mean, that you knew about the 4-leaf clover.
Look, I'm sorry. I don't want to be a jerk, but you are making less than no sense right now.
I don't even know how that makes any sense. There was no matching to be done. They could have said something about a famous monkey head transplant. Yeah? Well, see, there was an anatomy chart that I picked up at some point during this that went immediately into the files, and I could have looked at that, but I didn't because I forgot. And didn't think to look at it, so...
Oh, no. It's nothing. Just forget about it.
Oh, don't give me that. You really think I could just drop this?
Speaking of dropping this, coincidentally, I just knocked over my bottle of water and I need to go clean that up. Hold on, I'll be back in like 2 seconds, if that. One moment. Okay, we're back. I keep knocking shit over. I need to stop doing that. I may have some kind of brain problem. Alright. Okay.
What is this experiment you were talking about?
Clover looked away. The four-leaf clover was still in her hand. She stared at it for a long moment and then, finally, spoke.
You promise you won't tell anyone?
Hmm?
Cross my heart.
Really?
Really?
I can trust you, right?
Of
Probably.
course you can.
Clover slipped the four-leaf clover into her pocket. Her eyes still red from crying, she looked up at Junpei.
Okay then, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happened on this ship.
Yeah, I do need to go
9
into some
years ago.
analytics and literacy classes. Yeah. I need to learn how to read. I'm just sounding it out like, I'll tell you what... Your coolant bottle is needed because your process is burning red. Yeah?
Wait. On this ship?
Yeah, this ship.
What? It was literally this ship? Okay, interesting. So, when Seven said he was here before, it actually was this ship. Okay, I thought it was like a similar place, whatever. He was entirely lost. He had 1,000 questions, but it was probably best, he thought, to save them until Clover had finished.
It was an experiment to test some sort of psychic thing.
Right, I remember that.
Communicating through these fields that you can't see.
Right.
Fields that you can't see?
Fields that you can't see. He'd heard something like this before. Clover nodded.
Like, think about this.
She pointed at the operating table. On top of it was a somewhat mismatched medical mannequin whose parts had been swapped with another mannequin.
This is John, right?
Wait, how many of the cast have been on this exact ship in the past? It was Seven, Ace, and now Clover. Exactly, yeah. Which also then begs the question, what are Santa, June, and Junpei doing there? As far as I can tell, they and then maybe Snake have nothing to do with this.
But is he really John?
Huh?
All Junpei could think of was she's finally completely lost it.
Isn't this like Locke's socks?
You're gonna have to explain that one to me, Clover.
Or the ship of Theseus?
That one I get. I've seen WandaVision, so yeah, I know what the ship of Theseus is. Junpei grew even more confused. Also, Junpei, how do you know what ship came to collect the people on the Titanic, but not that... doesn't matter. Let's just keep going. He'd never heard of either of those things, although they sounded smart.
You don't know? You haven't heard of those paradoxes?
No?
I'm not sure if they're paradoxes necessarily, but they're definitely like thought puzzles. Junpei shook his head.
Really?
Clover laughed.
Okay, well pay attention then. This is how Locke's socks works. Let's say
Oh,
I've
so
got a
basically they
pair
add
of socks.
stitches to it, and then
They're
it
my favorite
technically
socks.
it's a different socks. Yeah.
One of them gets a hole in it.
Yeah.
What would you do if that was your sock, Junpei?
I'd eat it. I'd eat the sock. Yeah. Patch it up.
Well, I guess I'd patch it up, get some cloth, and close up the hole.
But what if another hole opens?
I'd add another patch, I suppose.
What if another hole opened after that?
Another patch?
Just
I
keep
guess?
patching it, you know, just like a game. That game is gonna be completely different by the end of it, but it'll be patched up.
Well, let's say you just keep adding new patches until eventually the original cloth of the sock is totally gone. Once you get to that point, can you really say they're the same socks you started with?
That's fair, yeah.
Well, that's tough.
Junpei crossed his arms.
So, that's the Lock Socks thing?
Yeah, the ship of Theseus is a lot like it. The ship of Theseus. If you keep fixing the damaged parts of a ship,
It'll change into a different ship.
eventually it ends
Yeah.
up with none of the parts it started with. Can you really say that ship is the same one you started with?
Technically, the ship of Theseus is whatever ship Theseus is on.
And what
Just
if you
putting that
took
one
all
out
the
there.
old parts from the first ship
Just throw it and get a
built
replacement.
another
Socks are
one
cheap.
somewhere else?
Yeah, socks can be very expensive depending on, like, what kind of socks. I like decent socks, but, like, I'm not gonna, like, spring for it.
Then which ship is the real ship of Theseus? The one you repaired, or the one you built with all the original parts?
It's the one with Theseus on it. It was an interesting question. Clover could see Junpei was intrigued.
Hey, do you think it's the same?
What's the same?
These guys. Is this John, or is it Lucy now?
I think the head is the most important part, so I'm gonna say it's still John. Junpei looked at the operating table again. A mannequin full of body parts from a different body. Except for the arm. Actually, wait, no, including the arm, never mind. Clover had been right. It was just like Locke's socks and the ship of Theseus. The parts of the body that hold a person's identity is the head. Of course, for many hundreds of years, conventional wisdom had held that a man's identity resided in his heart, or any number of internal organs. And here they had both.
John's head and heart are both his, but apart from those and a single arm, the rest of his body was once Lucy's.
Was that mannequin really John?
We're just like these mannequins.
So you and Snake crossed brains? I don't know. She looked at Junpei again.
Think about it. The cells in our body change every day. Old ones die and new ones are born.
Well, yeah, I guess physically it's different, but...
Maybe part of my arm
Oh yeah,
is made
Junpei
of
only has
stuff from the
plot-relevant
fish I
knowledge,
ate
that's
once.
true.
Or maybe part of your right side is made from a cow you ate.
Huh, I'm part
If
cow.
you take it a little further, those cows and fishes are made from something else too,
Like
right?
grass, yeah.
That's how we're all connected. Through fields that can't be seen with the naked eye.
Fields that can't be seen with the naked eye. The silence was broken by Seven.
Hey, what the hell is taking you two so long?
We're discussing... psychogenics? Seven's head appeared in the doorway. He was not happy.
How long are you gonna make me wait?
In fairness,
We don't
yeah,
have
we do
time
need
to
to.
screw
We
around.
gotta get going. So if I rip off my arm, replacing it can replace my genetics, or does eating people change me? I think eating people is the main problem, but not for the reason you think. Also, I guess in that sense, technically the only way to make sure that you're made of person completely is if you only eat people, which you shouldn't do, but that would theoretically be the only way. Junpei and Clover looked at each other. Clover looked at Junpei as if to say there was more she wanted to tell him. She shook her head. Whatever she had to tell him, she didn't want to tell him in front of Seven. Seven seemed to catch on.
Oh? What were you two doing? Was this some sort of secret meeting?
You were talking about, Pokemon cards?
No, it wasn't. We were just
Just...
playing with the mannequins.
Huh?
Let's go, Junpei.
Why can't we tell him about the thing with the being made of fish? I don't know. Moving a little bit too fast to be entirely innocent, Clover headed toward the exit. Seven stared after her, then turned to Junpei with an amused expression.
Playing with mannequins, huh? Didn't know you were into that kind of thing, Junpei.
Look, man, you're the one who wanted to fuck the dolls.
You're a dick.
Junpei dashed past him and traced Clover's path out the door. With a short laugh, Seven followed. They stood in front of the door. Junpei took out the Jupiter key.
Alright, I'm gonna open it now. Is that cool?
You don't need to keep asking, just do it, alright?
Oh,
Fine,
okay, sure. Fine. He slid the key into the keyhole and turned it. He felt it unlock. Resident Evil has made me think there are going to be zombies on the other side of this. Alright. The door opened with a soft, melancholy creak. Beyond it lay a simple, white hallway. Junpei, the human doll-loving femboy, is not on my 2025 bingo card, but here I am. That's a real sentence I just said. Alright. Beyond it lay a simple, white hallway. There was no fanfare or confetti. Obviously, there was no one there to applaud them. They simply walked through the door. That was it.
Alright, let's get going.
Hey man, what's up with you? You're so serious, you know? Can't you sound more happy, get a little excited?
Yeah, let's go to the next murder
Not
door.
really.
Junpei turned away from 7 and took his first step down the simple white hallway.
My brother might be dead. I'm going to be next.
Clover had told him only a few minutes before that her brother was probably dead and she was likely to follow him. Resident Evil Village, specifically the Rose DLC, doesn't allow me to trust doorways and dolls in the same room in context. Oh, I bet. I still haven't even done the Rose DLC, and I was like, oh, I'm totally gonna do that. Still haven't done it. I still plan to do it at some point, I just keep forgetting. It's on
Hell,
sale
I can't.
constantly. I should do it.
Not after hearing something like that.
You found it, thanks to the help of your viewers. Like, the game just knows that I, like, cheated through it. Hold on, let's see the flow. Okay, so I got... Just to make sure I don't lose these keys or whatever, I'm gonna play through this scene, but we'll see. They left the operating room. The hallway took them around several corners and past several doors, but they were all locked.
There too, huh? Every door in this place is locked up tight.
How about that one?
And that one leads back to the thing. The final door was hidden in a corner of the hall.
May as well give it a try.
Junpei grabbed the handle. As he made to push it open, a voice stopped him. The voice came from behind him and belonged to neither 7 nor Clover.
Jumpy!
Huh?
Right, this is where they get together again. He spun around. He saw someone running toward him from the other end of the hallway. There were 3 people coming toward Junpei and his companions. You did it with the help of one shadow getting too internally frustrated, which, to be fair, I feel like if I knew the answer, I'd also be incredibly frustrated, because I didn't even look at the directions properly.
June? And Santa? And Lotus too?
But no Ace, because he's asleep in this timeline.
What the hell is this?
A door?
What are you doing here?
What? But we didn't...
Before he could finish, Clover spoke.
Hey guys, could you come take a look at this?
Oh no. She was standing near the end of a small hallway that branched off to the right. The rest of them ran over to her, curious as to what she'd found.
Look on the wall here.
There was something on the wall at the end of the hallway. A
A
map.
map of the ship's interior?
It says C deck.
So it's the map for this floor then?
Door 7. And
This was probably door 8.
door 8.
Yeah.
They both eventually end up at this hallway.
In fact...
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
Ah! He did say it.
We aren't going to be split up permanently till we find door 9.
Maybe the 30-minute puzzle could have been solved with a paper. Yup. Yeah, I could have looked at that.
We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise,
I wasn't even doing it the right way. It's just like the Danganronpa thing over again, or the Danganronpa 2 thing, I should say, but
That's
yeah.
how the nonary game works.
I see.
Junpei looked at the map of the ship's interior again.
Wait a sec. Hey, could this lead to...
As he looked more closely, his surprise and excitement gave way to weariness.
Oh,
You've got to be kidding me.
One by one, the others saw what he'd seen.
We may as well go.
yeah.
We don't like Ace, but might as well not leave him behind. They moved as one for the door.
Almost forgot. We should keep this.
He pulled the map of the ship's interior off the wall and put it in his pocket and followed the others. 6 of them stood in front of the doorway, arranged in a semicircle. Santa stepped forward. He took hold of the door and spoke without looking back at the other 5.
Ready? I'm gonna open it.
Slowly, all 5 nodded their silent assent. With a deep breath, Santa threw open the door. Scramble, 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 scramble. They poured through the doorway and into the room. Even without looking around, each one of them knew where they were.
I knew it.
They were just where the map had said they would be.
We're back. In the hospital room.
I see. I believe I understand what you're saying.
Okay, now we're back here. So I need to go here, do whatever the special... Alright, I think it's the pocket watch thing. So there is...
That's a lie. We didn't have to split up the work. I just want to talk to Clover alone. That's why I sent Ace to the wheelhouse. There's something I want to ask her, and I don't want anyone to overhear us. I'm pretty sure Clover won't talk if there's anyone else around.
Okay, that makes sense why this whole thing happened
That's why
now.
when Ace showed up again, I got a little desperate. I had to make him leave.
Plus, I don't like him because he's an asshole. Ace opened his mouth, then took another look at Junpei and shut it again. A small smirk appeared on his face.
Oh, I see. Of course.
He looked Junpei over, then glanced at Clover.
I apologize for the intrusion. Well, best of luck.
Ace gave Junpei a knowing pat on the shoulder and left. Okay, that makes sense now. Junpei let out a sigh and brushed a few drops of sweat from his forehead. He turned and found himself looking straight into Clover's eyes. She'd heard what Ace had said. She regarded Junpei with caution.
What was that about?
She was clearly suspicious, and with good reason.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Junpei's eyes widened, and he held up his hands in a gesture of innocence.
No, it's not like that.
What's it like then?
I just wanted to hear the rest of that story. I didn't get a chance to ask you about it until now.
What
Think about the
story?
weird fields
About the
that
experiment,
turn people into
remember?
stuff. Oh yeah,
The one you
that.
started to tell me in the operating room? You said something about an experiment that happened here 9 years ago.
Clover bit her lip. She stared down at the floor for several long moments, and when she spoke, it was barely audible.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm just not in the mood, okay?
I get it.
You understand, right? I keep thinking about my brother.
I'm telling you, he's
can't
alive,
stop.
really. He's
I
just...
mean, who would do something like that to my brother? I can't forgive them. I'm not gonna let them get away with it. They're gonna pay for it. I promise. So...
Her shoulders were shaking. Drops of blood had sprung up on her lips whenever she was biting them. Or where she was biting them. Shit. She wiped it off and looked at Junpei, her eyes fierce and angry.
Junpei, who do you think did it?
Her voice was cold and scarcely above a whisper. Junpei gulped.
Well, if what Seven said was right, then there would have to be at least two
Well,
of them.
yeah, well now we already know the answer to this, but...
You need at least 3 people to open the numbered doors, and if you subtract Snake, that means there were at least 2 other people.
You're right. So, what does that mean?
Well, if we just look at the bracelet numbers, we should be able to figure it out. Who could have opened door 3 with Snake? Well, really,
It was
who and
Ace
who,
and...
or who and who?
9... Man.
You mean it could have been 4 people?
Well, technically, it's possible.
I don't know. That doesn't seem very likely.
You know, now that I know the answer to this, it's like...
Why?
I want to tell them, but
I'll
like,
tell
I
you. Why
can't.
don't we just assume it was only 2 other people for now?
Or 1.
Okay, got it. Let's do that then.
Then who do you think it could be?
Junpei crossed his arms and thought. Logically, it'd be Snake's bracelet number was 2, which went to digital root 3. Ace and... Well, it had to be, for this number, Santa and 7, but I know it was Ace. So... Well, alright, guess we're... Yeah. Had to be Santa and 7, but it clearly wasn't Santa and 7.
The digital root for 3. Wait, hold, are Santa and 7?
No, they are not. You have 0 right to say that after... Yeah, no, I got that. Yeah, that's fair.
What's wrong?
Well, hey, at least I understand how you feel about things. There's that. It's comprehension. Clover looked at Junpei and he looked back at her. There was no point in hiding it.
Well, I thought about it, and...
He told her his conclusions.
That's what I thought.
He looked less surprised than he'd expected.
Santa and 7. If it was 2 people, then that's the only combination that works.
Hey, wait a minute there. Don't you think it's a little too early to be jumping to conclusions?
And I should know, they call me Jumpy.
Well, all I said is that those 2 would have been able to open door 3 with your brother. There might be other possibilities.
Well,
Like we're about to
what
find
other
out.
possibilities?
With the 0 thing. He didn't have an answer. He was ready to admit defeat when Clover spoke.
Are you saying you think that it was 3 or 4 people? I really don't think that's likely.
It's not, because it was one person.
Why not?
can I borrow your pen and paper?
Clover put her hand out expectantly.
Yeah, here.
She opened the notebook and wrote down several simple addition problems. Oh, simple addition problems. I'm not gonna get those right. Okay, anyway. Eventually she had 8, which proved the digital root of 3. 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 6 equals 12. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna read all of these. Point is, most of them aren't right.
What's this?
These are the combinations for 3 or 4 people. These 8 combinations are the only possible ones.
But Junpei's number 5, and obviously we know it couldn't have been G or H or D. Or any of these, actually. We know the answer, but...
I see.
Yeah.
Junpei,
Yeah?
I can trust you, right?
Of course. Why would you need to ask that?
Really?
Yeah.
So then I should get rid of B, D, G, and H, right?
Yes.
Of course. Just cross them out. And you should take off yours too. The ones with 4.
So, what does that leave?
Logically, I guess
A and E.
it's possible, but 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 6 equals 12, and 2 plus 1 plus 3
it
7
can't
equals
be A.
21.
Why?
Because June's in that one. There's no way in hell she'd do something like that.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I bet my life on it.
Okay then. I can cross off A too, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm...
Well,
Guys,
what have we got left?
I'm just saying, it's clearly Ace. No, not clearly. I guess they don't have the other bracelet at this point. Don't listen to my ass. There's too many numbers on that damn paper. Yeah.
Do you know what this means?
They're gonna get to the next room and be like, wow, this was all pointless. We could just look at the bracelet and be like, oh, this is
Everyone
Ace.
besides me, you, and June would be working together.
Do you think that's likely?
No.
If there were 4 people working together, they wouldn't be very cautious. I don't think they'd try that hard to hide what they were doing if they outnumbered us, right?
Well, you do have a point.
And
Yeah.
besides, if Ace and 7 are working together, they could have easily gotten rid of me when I went to the shower room with them. But they didn't. They didn't even try anything.
So Ace and 7 aren't working together, but...
If they were killers,
Yeah?
why wouldn't they?
Her voice was calm, but June paid only to look her in the eye to know it was a forced calm. There were tears forming at the center of her eyes, and she was blinking furiously to keep them back. Perhaps by attempting an objective analysis of who might have killed her brother, she'd been able to distance herself from the harsh reality of his death. The more she struggled to act unconcerned, the more Junpei felt his heart tighten.
Oh,
Ace needed to his bait, exactly, yeah.
I see. Anyway, I understand now. It seems pretty unlikely that it was as many as 3 or 4 people.
Yeah,
Then that means there's a good chance it was Santa and 7.
that's how it looks.
But why would they do it?
Yeah, in this case we do kind of need the motive, because that's probably the only thing that will keep her from killing them.
Their motive.
He laid his hand gently on her shoulder. He was close, so close to the answer. When Ace chose the worst possible moment to return. Because he's the culprit! He raised a knowing eyebrow and then spoke.
Have I interrupted something?
What is it?
There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come?
Oh, skipped the line accidentally. Alright. He turned on his heel and walked back toward the wheelhouse.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Junpei looked over at Clover. He gave her a short nod, hoped that she would be willing to talk to him again later, and followed Ace.
What did you want to talk about?
Oh god. Ace looked at Junpei and smiled. Perhaps more of a smirk than a
There
smile.
was something I wanted to check.
Yeah? What's that?
If you'll excuse me.
No warning, Ace slipped his hand into the pocket of Junpei's vest.
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
I'm just checking.
No, stop!
He reached for Ace's arm, but it was already too late. Oh, right. Okay, yeah, this we can skip.
Just as I thought. What exactly are
You
Yeah. Switched out his
I
paper.
managed to get...
Then,
Oh, simple...
Curiosity, yep.
uh,
It was a small defeat, but it was a defeat. Junpei had lost the upper hand, and he knew it. He could feel his stomach begin to tense. Damn. Okay, so yeah, we already did that. So now we need the 2 in the captain's quarters, which is the red file and the monitor, whatever that is. A red file lay in the drawer. Junpei reached down and picked it up.
Looks like there's something on the cover. A-L-L.
Oh, Alice! Okay, this is where that comes back up.
All ice.
Alice. Does this mean...
Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in that file. Oh, right, this is the hieroglyphics thing. Okay, that's what that was. How close are we to the ending? Good question. I think, we can't look at the flowchart, but we're very close, I think. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages in the file, and each was full of these strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
He didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked over at him.
They are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt?
That's right.
Ancient Egypt.
Can you read them?
Of course. I can't. What would make you think I could?
I don't know, man. Maybe just be helpful?
What the hell?
Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just 1 or 2 pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file, and something fell out.
What? What's this?
He bent down and picked it up.
Oh,
Right, this is where I got the key card. Yeah.
so it
Okay.
would seem.
Bottom deck, library. Oh.
Yeah, this is where that thing with the Forest of Knowledge or whatever. Junpei remembered something he'd heard from Seven when they had been in the chemical closet.
Seven said
My
something.
brother's still a dickhead, even in the route where he acts good. Exactly, yeah. Something like about...
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forge of Knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic.
So yeah, that's where that is.
Bottom deck, and the Forest of Knowledge is the library? Then could Alice be in a room somewhere beyond the library?
What's wrong? Something on your mind?
Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him, curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts.
Yeah. I just remembered something.
Is that so? What about?
Well, don't laugh, okay?
Should we tell him this, though? Obviously, like, Junpei has no reason to hide it from him, but we do. There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him. About the ice?
The Egyptian priestess and Ice 9. Interesting.
And the woman who wouldn't melt, who was recovered from the Titanic disaster? They called her All Ice, which eventually turned into Alice. And she was purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain.
Right.
According to Seven, this ship is where he hid Alice.
And you think that he hid her in a small room, beyond the library on the bottom deck?
Yeah, but I don't really know how that ties into the rest of this.
Well, I mean, it is just a theory.
Ace stared off into the distance, his hands slowly and absent-mindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei, and his brows drew together.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS?
Pretend I haven't.
Cass.
It stands for Cells Alive System. It is an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic
Isn't the bottom deck
matter.
flooded at this point? Apparently the bottom deck isn't the one that's flooded. It's one of the ones that's like separate from the rest of the flooding.
Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals.
Okay, so it's like cryogenic
If you freeze
stasis.
something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is supercooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form.
Okay.
It was originally developed for the preservation of food, as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors that it can be used for other things.
What do you mean? other
Like
things?
Master Chief? What do you want from me?
Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel.
Space travel.
Okay.
Are you serious?
Surely you've heard of suspended animation,
Yeah,
cryogenic freezing?
that actually I've heard of.
It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space.
So magnetic flash freezing, I guess, and the whole point is that it can keep you alive even though you're frozen. That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an
Are
eyebrow.
you saying that Alice was frozen using that cast thing?
Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility.
But then how was she frozen?
If this special
like
ice
that?
you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and casts were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously.
You think she could be alive?
Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities.
We need to get her near a fire and thaw her out, and then she's...
The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right?
Yeah?
If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature...
That's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about?
We do know that there were at least 2 other people on the ship we didn't know about previously.
You're quite right. It does sound unbelievable. But if she had, then we would have an explanation for the man we found dead on the floor.
Does
You mean
she
the guy dressed like a
killed
captain?
him? What?
Yes.
Why would she have done
He
that?
was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered.
Well, yeah, that I got.
But if he was murdered, then by whom? It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible.
Because we haven't gotten here yet. If the casket is empty, I'm gonna say that my theory is that she's always 100% true. That would be interesting, because she definitely has the look down.
In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open.
But then that
door
doesn't
1.
explain how she was the mother of the girls from the last nonary game, and then she just kind of popped up.
That door that requires the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened that door?
Santa and Lotus.
Right. Clearly, the 2 of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter. Who else then could have done so?
You? Maybe?
Nobody.
After Santa and Lotus
I guess that's
used the
true.
Earth key, they turned back and met up with me and June. Then we returned to the large hospital room and found Ace, Seven, and Clover. While we'd gone into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover had stayed behind. But it's impossible for those 3 to open door 1. But what about when June and I took the elevator to door 2? No, still won't work. We were only there for 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters and killed that guy in there and run back that fast.
I'd like to see that to be funny.
It
but
would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case,
yeah, we also
Who
know that
could have
because
killed him?
Fake Snake, and then also the guy on the floor, there's at least 2 other people on the ship. There's probably at least a 3rd one that could be Zero if it's not one of us. So, could be a lot of things.
wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well.
Would they, if they were frozen?
They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors.
Perhaps she's figured out about their ancestors and covered up her true age with a lie. Lois did get offended when Seven said she was very old. That's true, they have been saying she's old the whole time. That could have been foreshadowing.
The numbered door would mean nothing to someone like that.
But it would be interesting that she would have knowledge of the people in the last nonary game if she was not herself there. Unless she was woken at the end of the last nonary game by whatever puzzles they did, and now she's back because they made her be back.
It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters.
Then you're saying the killer was Alice?
It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully.
Well, this is all only one possible theory.
All ice. Alice, is she really somewhere on the ship?
And if she is, why wouldn't she kill Ace? Junpei had only one clue. The key card in his
Maybe
hand.
this card will give me access to the Forest of Knowledge and the big mystery. What could be there beyond the Forest of Knowledge? Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now. I'll come back to this later.
He gripped the key card tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. Okay, now we need the monitor. And then I think after that, we have everything we need for the actual ending.
Huh.
Junpei snorted with a grim humor for the second time since he'd come into the room. Just skip ahead to the part where we haven't gotten to it yet.
Well, even if he wasn't one of us, there's no way that man could be Zero.
Huh?
Don't you get it? The letters that spell Zero on the TV screen, the captain's clothes he's got on, and of course, the bracelet with a 0 on it. It's too obvious.
Yeah, it's like there's too much stuff that points to it to be Zero that it's probably just not him.
Look, this is Zero right here. This dead body is Zero.
I guess that would get counterpointed by the fact that she's a skilled computer genius in the cybersecurity field, not something you just pick up. That is true, yeah.
Isn't that kind of fishy?
Unless she's secretly from space or something, who knows? Like an alien.
You're right. Only an idiot wouldn't see through something like that.
No, that's not the point. So I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. I'm sure they didn't think it would work. Which makes me wonder.
Did he just not say the rest of the line?
I think this is a challenge. A challenge from the person who's really behind all of this. He's making fun of us. Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy really wanted us to think this corpse was Zero, they'd never have put a bracelet on him. Walking around with a Zero bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, "I did it!" Anyone with a brain would be able to see that this guy is supposed to look like everything Zero is supposed to be.
Right. A balding old man.
Just like we did. The killer must have known we wouldn't think he was Zero and put the bracelet on him anyway. Do you know why?
Why?
Like I said, he's mocking us.
Right. One thing that it does explain is why Lotus wasn't really wearing much clothing at all, especially because both Alice and her have similar styles and outfits. That is true. That might also just be a red herring though, so we'll... I don't know, it is certainly possible, I see what you're saying, but there are enough contradictions with it to where it also could just be a red herring and it could be nothing.
Too bad, suckers. This isn't Zero. Where's the real me then? See if you can catch me.
It's the same bad joke a lot of criminals like to play. They'll just sit back and watch people run in circles.
That's really twisted. But it almost seems kind of childish.
Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. It's like it's just a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me.
Junpei bent down next to the corpse.
Alright, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man?
I don't know.
And what's this guy's deal? Who is he?
How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you.
You have no idea who he is.
Why would I?
Junpei sat back on his haunches and thought.
We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is.
Give me a hand here, Clover.
Huh?
We gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets?
Yeah. Do we want to do that?
Fine. Guess I'll do it.
I feel like that guy was a random captain he kidnapped, killed, and used the body to stall the clock. That could be it. Yeah. Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own. He grabbed hold of an area not completely covered in blood and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as it did,
Huh?
something fell from the man's left wrist.
Hey, it's the...
It's the bracelet with 0 on the face. Yeah.
Oh god.
Junpei stared at the
This
bracelet.
man, he's dead, isn't he?
No shit!
No, it's just... I guess I didn't really think about it until right now.
Even then, he seems like a fresh kill because he isn't rotting with the insects eating at him. That's true. Exactly, yeah.
If his bracelet's off, that means he's dead.
Clearly, he's been dead for a very short amount of time. The question is, when was he killed and who did it?
Well, it's pretty obvious that he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure out that he's dead.
Yeah. I guess you're right. It is pretty obvious. Well, he looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though. You know?
He's not exploded.
I mean,
yeah.
if there wasn't all this blood, he'd almost look like he was still alive. I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but he kind of has it better, you know?
Does he?
Dying from a bomb going off inside of
I mean,
you.
it's gotta hurt, yeah,
It's
but at the very least, it's probably instantaneous.
Some of Snake's bones went right through his skin. I think the explosion must have thrown him against a wall or something. There was a broken bone just sticking out of his left arm.
Okay, and this is where she says, like, in this route, oh, he doesn't have a left arm.
And,
Suddenly, Junpei realized what he was saying. How could he have been so cruel? He clapped his hands over his mouth, but it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him furiously.
What did you just say?
Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology could hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried anyway.
oh man, I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean,
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What did you say about his arm?
arm?
Yes, his left arm. You said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, but I mean, didn't you see it too?
Of course not. I could barely look at him.
That does explain why she wouldn't have recognized
There's
the
no
body.
way I was gonna see the details.
Clover took a quick, deep breath.
Are you sure it was his left arm?
Junpei thought back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And he had a broken bone, right?
What the hell are you getting at here?
Left arm isn't a real
Just
arm.
shut up and answer me.
She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed.
Yeah, he did. It was pretty bad too. The bone was sticking out of the arm.
No sooner were the words out of his mouth than Clover's expression changed.
Clover? What's wrong?
Well, other than what would obviously be wrong,
I'm sorry if I said anything.
suddenly she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to do.
Thank you.
It was close to the last thing he had expected to hear.
Huh?
If he's talking, it's even more obvious about him not being dead. Exactly, yeah.
What are you...
Junpei had no idea what just happened. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there, confused.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
Yeah, I'll talk about your dead brother whenever you want. She thanked him again, and then something even stranger happened. Aww. Clover threw herself into Junpei's surprised arms.
Hey,
Clover sounds like she's moaning as
what's
she
going on?
gasps. Yeah, a little bit.
I'm sorry, it's just... I'm so happy.
Why?
The body in the shower room. It isn't his. It isn't my brother.
See, this would be way more confusing if we didn't already have the other route where we knew that his
Huh?
arm was prosthetic.
It's not Snake.
Why on earth would you think...
No, he is not Solid Snake!
Because his left arm is...
She stopped herself.
I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Junpei decided it would be prudent not to press her for any more information. She did not wish to tell him, she certainly had a reason for doing so. I feel like if Zero were to die, I would think that a failsafe would trigger allowed everyone to leave freely. Maybe. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, then she was likely right. That meant that the body in the shower room wasn't Snake. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart.
But he's still alive. I'm so happy.
Tears shone in her eyes. The eerie upbeat carnival music feels wrong. I think it sounds fine. It's upbeat at least. Those tears melted Junpei's heart. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest like a child. Junpei put his arms around her and held her tight. Shit.
I'm so glad.
Huh?
Junpei, you were right.
Huh?
No matter what happens, you can never lose hope.
Huh?
You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love.
And he's like, did I say that?
If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck.
Yeah, it was a nice moment. Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out.
That's...
It was a laminated bookmark with a 4-leaf clover.
I only made it here because you gave me this.
And you also didn't kill everyone this
I was
time.
suspicious of everybody. I was angry and miserable. But because I had this 4-leaf clover, because of what you said to me,
Yeah.
Junpei hadn't thought his words would have such an effect on her. Her words were making him feel a little awkward.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
I bet. It's like... She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended to notice something interesting somewhere else in the room.
Oh, if you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa.
Santa? Why?
Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And the words for each leaf, I got that from him too.
Oh.
Then suddenly, Clover broke away from Junpei. What, huh?
Huh?
He looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. What? Okay, this is new. We don't know anything about Santa, so it's a little hard to... 6 steps to the left, 6 steps to the right, another 6 to the left, and then she stopped.
Did Santa really tell you those things?
Yeah... Her eyes were serious, but not angry.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, Zero, welcome back to the stream. How you doing? Well, she's gonna kill Ace and 7 at some point since we deduced it to them. But, thing is, I don't think she's going to because now she's realized that he's alive. So that's probably not gonna be a problem.
Did I, say something wrong?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news, I think.
I don't follow.
You think?
Santa knew about the words and the clover.
Yeah?
The only people who should know about that are the other subjects.
Oh, the experiment. So Santa was also there.
Subjects.
The other people who were in the experiment 9 years ago, with my brother and me. But he's blind. And I was part of the Nevada test group.
Or is it the Nevada test group? I'm not starting this argument here. Never mind.
Neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of the people who were on this boat.
Whoa. Okay, time out.
Yeah, it's a big info drop there, Clover. You're gonna have to dial that one back. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Junpei held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out.
Let's just calm down for a second, okay? Start from the top. Don't start with the end and then jump to the middle. You gotta start with 1 and then move to 2.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, you just start. Tell the
stuff in
thing.
right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out.
Okay.
Clover nodded.
All right, let's start with this experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago?
Do you know about morphogenetic fields?
Pretend that I do.
Morphogenetic fields.
Or don't. Wait, no, tell me about it. He did, and the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine.
All right, how about this?
Oh,
Theory of the
right.
mechanism.
That.
I think Lotus mentioned something like that.
That's what that was, okay. You accounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded.
Telepathy, huh?
Telepathy,
Well,
huh?
that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar.
So they were testing telepathy on this ship?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, what exactly did they have you guys do?
The same thing that we're doing now. Exactly the same thing.
What?
The nonary game.
Oh.
9 people were put on this boat, and 9 others were put in the building in Nevada, and the game started.
But wait, there were 16 children kidnapped, I thought. Junpei grabbed the sides of his head.
Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What do the nonary game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other? Am I missing something here?
Clover bit her lip. She blinked back sudden tears. What had happened to her in
The
Nevada?
ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops in your head? That's an epiphany.
Okay.
And what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to that equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy.
So you're saying the nonary game
What?
was supposed to introduce that element of danger?
Okay, so then how does that tie into this, though?
It couldn't be just any old danger.
Like life-threatening, yeah.
It had to be life and death.
Yeah, okay. Santa, Clover, and Snake are supposedly former test members. Yeah, and then 7 was also there. Ace was a... Okay, so basically, 7 was a cop who happened to be on the scene at the time. Ace was the guy running the tests, so he's like the villain there. Lotus was, either the really old lady or she's the mother of a few of the test subjects. But that still, yeah, doesn't explain what June and Junpei are doing unless June is Zero and Junpei is just someone she brought on for some reason.
And
Clover was in Nevada with Snake while 7 was in the normal game. Yeah, so 7 could have been shown different numbers and say a different story to Clover. Probably, yeah.
someone did.
I think 7 was technically on the boat.
die. A girl.
Wait, who? Junpei felt the sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very empty and alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada.
Okay.
I never met her, but I did hear her name.
Was it
Her name was...
Nona? But I thought Nona was alive. The sound of the door opening was like a gunshot. Junpei spun around.
Oh,
Ace.
my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you.
Go the fuck away. We were in the middle of
Ace.
something.
You two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you could stay in this room for so long.
Ace glanced down at the floor. If June is Zero, then Junpei could have been brought along due to her seeing him as reliable. That's true. Unless he was also a part of the game somehow and just doesn't remember it, but that feels less likely at this point. At the corpse covered... Ace glanced down at the floor. At the corpse covered in blood.
At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come and help me with something? I'm having a little trouble and I could really use your assistance. Come on, it'll only take a moment.
With that, he turned and walked back toward the communications office. Clover waited until he was out of sight and spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Huh? Hey, wait!
Clover ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling.
Junpei, what are you doing in there? Hurry up!
Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off toward the communications office. Okay, so now we have both of those keys. I think we can... Yep, now we can do whatever the thing was in this. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. If I didn't have any of those keys, I would have gotten the axe ending. But now that we have all of them, we can now beat the game, I think. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left like a great backward L. Actually, let's just skip to the new stuff. There's so many genuine problems with the GCSE German exams in general, so it's really annoying.
A note.
A note?
Yeah, I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister...
Oh, okay, so that's where she got the note for the safe. Okay.
Let me see it.
No, not right.
But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice.
Junpei, Clover, what are you two doing? Hurry up!
He's getting mad.
Clover shrugged.
I'll show it to you later, all right? Come on, we gotta hurry.
No one in Germany is ever going to ask you to write 150 words in German on a super specific topic with 2 bullet points, confusing as fuck. We still gotta teach this shit. Yeah, I feel like language tests, like, no... Like, I feel like they ask very odd questions, usually. In the last setting, after several streams 3 hours later, probably 4, considering how long it takes to get the dialogue. Oh, god damn it, stream lag, really? Oh, motherfucker. Wait. We might be back to normal. Okay, I think we're good. Possibly. At least we should be. Alright, I think we're back to normal. Anyway. Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L. A note. A note. Junpei was curious. But there was something else that bothered him.
From the look of that pocket, it doesn't particularly look like just a note.
So she also took the bracelet.
Jeez, what are you thinking? For crying out loud.
Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. I understand the speaking exams, but no one asked you what you did yesterday to help your parents in the house. Exactly, yeah. I know, we got a little shaky there. Yeah, I saw that. OBS will tell me how many frames I've lost, but, like, it won't it won't give me a way to fix that, really, essentially. Junpei pushed through the doors and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs.
The big stairs. Huh. So this is where it ends up, just like it says on the map.
It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
Ace, did he head down?
Oh boy. He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
Oh, there he is.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
And he hasn't killed any of them yet. Okay. And not just Ace. Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
Really?
Let's join them.
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time.
Jumpy! Clover!
June's face was excited. Something had happened, that much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
What's up?
Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about the sudden developments. However, he couldn't contain her. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
We found it!
Found what?
We found it!
What did you find?
June, do you think saying it again is gonna tell him?
Door.
Yeah, you found the 9 door. Yeah. Okay, so we can't skip through
found
this.
door 9!
Oh.
What?
Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay.
Then we can get Snake out of that, and because Ace presumably has the 9 bracelet, technically we could all leave.
Well, if that's the case...
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
And they all lead to the incinerator, which is kind of weird, but yeah.
Jumpy! We
Yay.
finally made it!
Basically, the speaking exam is a real one that matters in less than a month, and yeah, they just forget German as subjects. There's only 4 people in your class. Which is bad, because 2 out of the 4 are failing. Oh. Well, hey, at least the exam will probably be curved down, or up, or whichever the good one is. The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt.
It's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe what they'd really done it, at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably
Reached
was.
the end.
He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
Something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door.
Yeah, but Junpei, what have you figured out? Or what do you have?
We're on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind. 2 people. Is there a way?
There's a way. Junpei looked over at the clock.
4:30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to...
The incinerator
wonder about it
being the 9 doors had to be intentionally placed by Zero to potentially change their direction. Like these are fake 9 doors? It could be.
Hey!
But the point of the game was to seek a door with a 9 on it, and we found 2 of those, so... Yep. Then his voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Jumpy!
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could.
Yeah.
Junpei followed. As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to the E deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the 2 elevators. Devin grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got into the elevator on the left, and that took us to the other side of the grate.
Exactly.
After that, we headed down another hallway.
Did the
It
6
took us
door
toward the
thing.
bow, and
Yep.
eventually to the number 6 that you 2 found earlier.
Foundation grades it depending on the entire UK, so if everyone does well, they skyrocket. Oh.
We opened
Well.
it and kept going. There was another locked door behind it, like usual.
You got it.
But this
I guess
time
flip
we
that
had
coin.
2 different areas before we could unlock it.
Can't really offer much help
Through that
there.
door,
I don't speak German.
there was another hallway that went the other direction, toward the stern.
So, on your way, you found the elevator.
That's right.
So, in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side.
Yeah.
With that settled, Junpei looked around.
So, where's the number 9 door?
Over here.
Yep, follow me. Some began walking down a hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him.
By the way,
They had been walking for a while, June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke.
you know, It's because of Santa that we're all here right now.
Huh?
How
That
so?
all 7 of us are going to door 9.
How
You
so?
don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus.
Yeah.
What's their digital route?
Santa, 7, Lotus, that'd be 3... Okay, that equals 9. Yeah.
9. It's 9.
But then, what are the other 4 of us gonna do?
That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they'd wanted to.
But they didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Santa wouldn't let them.
Okay, so Santa was doing a... Well, obviously they didn't want to go.
He said, we
At least,
can't leave
I don't think
June
7
and the
would have.
others behind.
7's over here reminds me of shooting game call-out. Not everyone can get through, but since Ace probably has the 9 bracelet, and because we're gonna get Snake out right now, we will actually have all the numbers we need.
That's why we went looking for you
And we have the
guys.
0 bracelet in case we need it for something.
And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase.
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't have called that one. That Santa would be the one to stick up for you.
I mean, Santa's a good dude. Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern.
I don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it, and Santa objected to it first.
Is that so?
Junpei was about to respond when 7 suddenly stopped.
We're here.
Oh, okay. In front of them stood a door.
So, is this...
Yeah.
Junpei couldn't see 7's face, but he could see him nod.
There's no other place for us to go.
Nope. Just look around. There's a big old iron wall at the end of the hallway. The other hallways on the left and right are blocked by metal grates.
I see.
That's great. 0 could be a useful phone number if someone had the bracelet destroyed, but remember, 0 is a, equals 6. So we don't really know what that means in particular. It looked as though 7 was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
All right, let's get moving.
He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. It appeared they'd been telling the truth.
No way.
The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing, made of red paint. The door it decorated sat in the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it.
The 9 door.
You speak like a dad, very unpunny dad. Look, it's... I make the right jokes. It was a large double door with a powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish.
We're finally here.
Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. Didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted onto the wall next to the door. Its display read vacant.
No doubt about it. This is door 9.
Oh, finally! This is the last.
3, 2, 1. Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back, and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. It was a moment of complete silence.
Junpei, look behind you.
He turned around.
Behind? What?
Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw.
Why? A door and a 9.
So that there are 2.
Hey, what the hell? What the hell is going on here?
So everyone could leave. His words came slowly, and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. Actually, wait, let's see. He seemed way too happy if all endings are deaths or fails. This one shouldn't be any different. This is supposed to be like the true ending, though. Like the one that we get to for doing all the things right. It was a small door set parallel to the one they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door.
There's a red there too. That means... And of course it won't open.
You know, Snake, if you're in the coffin, you should probably, you know. He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
Why? Why the hell are there 2 doors?
It was Ace who spoke first.
Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one?
Lotus was skeptical.
I don't know about that. It seems unlikely.
What makes you say so?
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think
Well,
that
I mean, I
very
kinda had
anything
to
is
sometimes,
going
but
to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
probably not.
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room.
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well when I was in here before.
Did no one check the
I
coffin?
didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well then, that means...
Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
It is hidden.
Seek
but an
a
exit
door that
can
carries
be
a 9,
found.
yep.
Seek away.
Your way that carries a 9. Junpei began to mutter to himself.
So if there are 2 number 9 doors, if we split it up right,
That's not gonna work.
How many people are in the room? If there's too many, they're fucked. That's the thing, though. Because if they have all the bracelets they had at the start, which they do technically, because Ace has the 9 one, and if they can get 7 out, then he is that, or Snake out. Snake has that too. So they can actually all leave, as long as they get Snake out, and they know that Ace has the other one. Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her
You've got a
hand.
notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them?
yeah, here.
Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her.
Look at this.
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
You get it?
Yeah.
The numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people. So...
If 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind. Right?
yeah.
But we have ways around this. Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem.
No way.
Snake, now would be a very good time to start beating on the coffin. The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were
Come to
blank.
think of it.
Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him.
What is this room?
The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room.
It looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony, but what kind?
Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. The other end of the carpet,
Is that an altar?
it's a coffin. Coffin talk. It's a recessed space that set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. Coffin. But it's a different looking coffin.
No, it couldn't possibly be.
But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. No, Junpei, think about the coffin for the time being! At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
Okay, I give up. I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer. But I guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
What are you talking about?
Stay behind. But you can't just say that you'll stay behind, because if your number only works with one group, then that group also has to stay behind.
What? You guys didn't figure it out yet? Fine. Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong, she just... screw it! Let me just write it out.
Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination.
Oh. Huh. Junpei, you fucking moron, open the damn... Yeah, open the
If
box!
you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
Wait, this means.
Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
No, we need to get out of here with everyone if
The
we
same
can.
thing?
Well,
Are
everyone
you
that's not
saying-
currently dead.
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
Oh.
Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot?
Somewhat. Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had
No,
volunteered.
I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm gonna have to owe you for getting out of here.
I fucking hate you! The rest of them began to speak all at once.
I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either. I don't like that idea.
Guys,
There's gotta be other
look
options.
at the box.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero.
I feel like some of these were just them saying, hey, we don't like you. Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven. I feel like the first two got turned into the local casting couch of walls. Yeah,
Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied.
he turned into paint.
Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this.
Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
Doesn't make any sense.
He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corner of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke.
Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet.
I think we should leave him behind. It's like, Seven. Dick. Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable.
Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here?
Santa shook his head. Okay, good.
Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone.
Then I don't see how it matters.
I said alone.
So, you'll die with him?
Huh?
What?
I said I don't want to leave Seven alone.
There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
What the hell are you?
What? You don't get it?
I mean, obviously it's a calculation thing,
I
but...
can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people.
What?
That's my proposal. No, those are my orders.
What?
What do you mean, orders?
Are you Zero?
What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you?
You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice.
What?
What?
3, 2, 1.
Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. Does he have the gun? When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moving like lightning. He spun and... So he has the gun in this route. God damn it. What? Okay, So... Huh.
See?
He had June.
I told you.
So was he Zero? His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. But then what's her deal?
Huh? What?
A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head was about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple. Open the coffin, exactly! Yeah, something's gone wrong here. What is happening?
What the hell is that?
Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Well, we know that obviously because it was in the coffin, but a different coffin. But Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion.
The gun's from the other room.
What room?
One of the rooms behind door 6.
Does it matter which room? Focus,
I should've known he
Junpei.
was gonna do this. I should have taken the gun.
Well, it's too late now, fat ass.
He's not even that fat. What
Damn
are you...
it.
A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face as he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twisted into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded and he began to move. He walked backward, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red, so if he goes with 9, then he would need, I guess, Clover and Junpei, because that's another 9 to make it 18. Put his hand on the scanner panel quickly, and then force June to do the same.
Now, time for you to start following my orders.
Alright, Virgil.
Ace, Lotus, congratulations. I've chosen you to come with me.
Oh, that's another combination.
Put your hands in the red.
But then Ace is also problematic, to say the least. That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more.
Hey, you deaf? I gave you an order.
What the hell is happening? Why would he pick this route to, like, mess things up? Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
Right, fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it.
Okay, nope, let's work with this. No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched. And the gun roared. Okay. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
He really shot it? But why? Santa, why are you...
Yeah, what the hell is happening here? Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends.
What?
You knew about the leaf words and the 4-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched, almost imperceptibly.
What the hell is that shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying.
Shut up. Just shut up, you stupid bitch. You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head?
Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth and his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small.
Santa.
He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
All right, assholes. What are you still standing there for?
The blips are returning. Oh, God. He's definitely motivated, that's true. Let's see, is OBS... I mean, OBS is fine right now. Alright, well, whatever.
Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe?
Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate.
That's it.
June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she wouldn't leave the ship and she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do.
It's the only way.
He turned to Ace and Lotus.
Please, go. Huh?
No way.
Jumpy, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're going to be stuck, Jumpy. And so will Clover and 7.
I know, but you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out.
Let's see, if Clover's 7 and then Junpei stay, that equals... 7 plus Clover's 18, or 11. Add Junpei to that at 16, and then actually if they get Snake, they're fine. Technically. Wait, no, does that work? Yeah, it does, that does
7?
work, yeah.
Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but...
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of. No, you can't!
We'll be fine.
Ace, Lotus, don't come over! Don't worry about me, please!
June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. He gently placed a hand on each of their shoulders.
Please.
OBS is truly a spectacle of streaming. Yeah, I'm not... Yeah. I mean, I've used it for, like, years at this point, but I can't really figure that part out. They almost stumbled, then rightened themselves and took another step. And another. They turned around and Junpei nodded.
Go. All right.
Fine.
Now I'm kind of wondering how Ace is going to mess this up, considering he was the villain in the last arc. He went to where Santa was standing. They stopped in front of the door, marked 9. Santa smiled.
Alright, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What? You think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. Greg doesn't need a person, you know? All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands
Now
on the
wait, how
scanner.
does Santa know this? What's...
I'm not gonna say it again.
He shoved the revolver harder against June's head and she winced.
Fine.
Ace sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Snake and slammed her hand onto the scanner panel. The 4th asterisk blinked on.
Good job. Now, Lotus, hold that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens, right?
Damn it.
Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble. A drum roll to welcome the chosen few.
Good. Go.
Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Snake is 2, right? Exactly, yeah. Junpei's gonna pull a Snake if they don't hurry the hell up. Exactly. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. 6, 7, 8, 9. Later. That's... We can still get to them. The question is, why is he doing this? After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and 7 had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. 7 shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. So this is the coffin ending, but wait, we're gonna get Snake out of that, or what are we doing here? Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read engaged. He moved to the smaller door. It should say vacant. Yeah. The red read vacant. The digital root of the remaining people was 7. 5 plus 4 plus 7 equals... Yep, 16, yep. There was no possible way for them to open a door with a 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door.
June.
He thought about June. About Akane Kurashiki. Is she safe? That was all that mattered to him. Probably knew Snake was there when he did follow through with the alone thing. Maybe. If she was alive, she had escaped through this horrible boat. Or if she had escaped this horrible boat... That was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed.
So, what do you want to do, Junpei?
What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do?
Maybe investigate Clover's pockets? The thing that you were curious about earlier? Just thought. 7 opened his mouth to respond when... Okay, good, they're finally getting to the coffin. A noise echoed throughout the room. Someone was pounding on something, vigorously. It wasn't mechanical, it was certainly human. Junpei and 7 looked at one another.
What the hell is that?
Shh, quiet.
Clover motioned to 7 to be quiet. Put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. Three of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from.
Where is it coming from? Could it be?
Snake saying red, red, red 5 times fast would be a tongue twister. Red, 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 red. Okay, fuck it. I've already messed up.
Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin.
You're right.
Let's open it.
But how?
What are those muscles for? For show?
You're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try!
Junpei and Seven grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with what little purchase they could find, and pulled with all their strength.
Damn it!
The demon!
Won't even budge.
There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it.
Not another one?
Yeah, looks like it.
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open?
I think so.
The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder.
Whoever or whatever's inside this thing wants out, and now.
I know that. But how?
Without a passcode, I don't think there's much we can do.
Well, Clover, you've got the note. They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
Clover, pocket!
Well, let's look for one.
Oh boy. Of course, Snake had a bigger brain than most of the cast. Seven is an unattractive himbo, can't say otherwise. I mean, I think he's a good dude, you know? Well, unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and Seven investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing.
There's nothing here.
Not making this easy, are they?
The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room.
What's the passcode? What am I supposed to do? How can we figure it out? I need something.
The world blinked. Oh, the epiphany thing they were talking about. Suddenly, there was a voice inside of Junpei's head. Truth had gone, truth had gone, truth had gone. Yeah, so, like, I feel like this is weirder than just having her read the poem and having them figure it out. Through the sleep and dark sinister hand, yep.
What the hell was that? That voice?
Junpei was utterly and completely baffled.
Huh? What?
What's up?
Seven and Clover ran over to him, but Junpei didn't know what to tell them.
Huh?
If he told them he'd heard a voice, they'd laugh. Or worse, think he was going insane. So all he said was...
Nothing.
He cleared his throat a little too loud and looked pointedly down at his bracelet. There were a pair of small Yep, we already got this. Press the buttons. Truth had gone. Truth had gone. Right, left, right, left, right, left. There. Yep. Eight numbers blinked on and off in the bracelet display. Junpei checked one last time. Pretty sure this is where the Sudoku puzzle I mentioned should have been for the code thing that got removed. Okay. Maybe. Or actually... Maybe this isn't the final puzzle yet.
1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1.
Huh?
Huh?
Hey, what the hell were those numbers?
Oh my gosh. Are those...
Huh.
Junpei didn't answer. He simply walked straight to the coffin. He knelt down in front of the keypad, running over the numbers in his head so that he wouldn't forget.
1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1. 1 4 3 8 3 4 2 1.
With trembling fingers, he punched them in. That was all of them. He punched the E button. There was a moment of complete silence. There we go. Then there was the sound of the coffin lid unlatching. Someone sat up out of it.
No way!
What? Why are you...
Yep, 'cause it's Snake.
Oh? Is that you, Clover? I apologize for worrying you.
Okay.
Snake!
Everyone's back.
Why?
Junpei? And Seven? Is that you? Is everyone else there as well?
Just like Rip Van Winkle. Still, it wasn't very much like Snake simply cut to the heart of the matter and ask. It was very much like him to cut to... Okay, damn.
Jeez.
My literacy is already dropping. Even further. Junpei and Seven shared a wry smile. Clover's eyes were filled with tears.
You're back!
Also, man, what the hell are you wearing? With a cry of joy, she leapt into Snake's arms. Aw, there we go.
Gently now. My body's still a little weak.
Oh, you're back!
Clover looked nothing so much as a lost child who had finally found her home. She cried and cried and cried. The absolute goat is back, indeed! Her eyes were red and her nose was running. She hiccuped and gasped as if she was about to begin hyperventilating.
You're back! You're really here!
Her voice was happy but almost desperate, as if she feared he would disappear again if she stopped talking to him. Tear after tremendous tear rolled its way down her face. Her small arms strained as she clutched Snake's body so as tightly as she could. Perhaps she had to convince herself he was real. Perhaps she was worried he would be gone the moment she let go. Perhaps she simply didn't know what else to do.
You're back!
Come now, what's gotten into you? You're acting as though I've returned from the grave.
Not as though! You did! I really thought you were dead!
Huh?
You jerk! Idiot! Idiot! Idiot!
He didn't do anything, Clover, so he's not the idiot, really. Clover broke into sobs so great she could no longer talk. It was a touching reunion between brother and sister. Even though Junpei knew they had little time, and every minute they waited was a minute they wasted, it felt cruel to pull them apart. And Junpei and Seven sat down in one of the pews, waiting for Clover to calm down before explaining to Snake what had transpired. But really though, what the hell caused Santa to start being weird?
I see. I believe I understand things rather well now, thank you. In the shower room, there is a dead body wearing my clothes.
Truer words have never been spoken. Oh, fuck. There's a lot left. Maybe a good stopping point to just kind of wrap things up now. And then next week we will actually finish the thing. Huh. Or not next week, but next, like, 2 weeks from now. I did not think there would be this much left. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections of the game. Huh. We may be looking at least, like, one more stream. I'm not doing this all today. So, I think we just take a pause here. We've been going for almost 3 hours now. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Airhead, your favorite VTuber Android. My next stream is on Tuesday, probably. As for what it is, keep an eye out for my schedule tomorrow. Have a lovely morning, day, or evening. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'm a clown, and I hope to see you all next time. Goodbye for now.